I'm gonna make you professor a co-host the night too. That's cool with you. I'm gonna just send you that co-host. I know Ray, he's been real busy lately, so Ray hadn't been able to do the co-hosting as well.
Shout out
So
to Ray. Shout out to Ray.
yeah.
Share the room out. Share the room out. Let's get busy. Yeah, what's up there, good fellas? What up, what up?
What's up? What's up, Professor? What's going on?
Man, I'm telling you, it's like we got news on top of news out here. It's like everything's going on at the same time. At one time, it is, bro.
Yeah, we got a bunch of different stories developing and coming through and everything else. Shout out to everybody coming up in the space as well too. See Minister Ali up in here. Shout out to you, Buffy. We're gonna get this thing rolling in just a second. But yeah, man, there's so many different developing stories that you can't even really cover everything, man. It's a bunch of different things just going on.
Hey, that situation in Oklahoma, though, man, I'm telling you, it's very interesting because I kind of get the feeling, and if you go into most of these different local areas where you got predominantly white people that's over everything, you're probably gonna hear somebody saying something like that right there. I want to hang black people.
Oh yeah.
You know.
And that's why I wanted to go ahead and cover that tonight too, man. We're gonna talk about what's going on in Oklahoma, and we're gonna talk about that the football trainer Mark Taylor that went on a racist rant last week, and also you got Disneyland in California doing a Pride night. So we want to go ahead and cover those topics tonight as well too. A shout out to Rira, I see you coming up in the spot as well too, sister. So shout out to you. I see you coming up in here as well. Of course, we always live stream it on YouTube as well too. So y'all go ahead and make sure y'all follow us on YouTube. I'm gonna be putting the YouTube stuff up in the Jumbotron as the actual program gets rolling on. So I'll go ahead and put that up in there, as well as the usual newsletter link and the links to the Venmo, PayPal if you guys want to make a donation. So we'll definitely let a few more of our people start to roll in, and then we're gonna go ahead and cover it because, like I say, like you say, Professor, there's so many different things developing and happening every day. So it's just one of those things, man. And we try to go ahead and cover a couple topics normally. Sometimes it's just one, but we try to cover a few topics up in the space that we can. Sometimes we go ahead and we cover, like I say, it's just one that catches everybody's attention. Like last night we were talking about the actual reparation rally up in DC coming on the Juneteenth weekend. But generally we like to try to cover 2-3 topics, sometimes even 4 up in the Twitter space. So try to keep it rolling as well too. And you guys, we got Minister Ali. She's down at the bottom. If you remember, we had the interview with her about Chad's Bunch. So make sure you keep up to date with her. If you're not following her, make sure you guys go ahead and follow her as well too. So we plan on trying to hook up with her some more and see and have some more of these stories about some of the people that's locked up and telling their side of the story as well too. So we're gonna try to hold some spaces on that occasionally also as well. So just a shout out to everybody from last night that was up in the space too. If people missed the space, they definitely want to catch it last night. It was a good space. See Black Native coming up in here as well too. So yeah, man. Even before I got up on here, I saw that Jonathan Major situation. It seems like it's getting worse for that brother. So he's really getting nailed to the wall now. So you got more people coming out as well too. So as soon as that story broke with him, it's like he's on a sinking ship right now. So I know y'all seen the thing with Maxine Waters, and she was a professor. I saw you posted that earlier about Maxine Waters, and that was also on the Newstoter platform as well too. Dude sitting up here telling me he wanted to cut her throat and some crap. So just a bunch of crazy things going on.
Peep this, y'all. Is another one in Colorado, another representative that was threatened by a caucusaur out there.
Yeah.
He threatened to put a AK-47
I just tweeted that out as well too, man. So that's a lot of times when y'all post that stuff on, and I like it and stuff like that. But a lot of times either it's on the platform and I already tweeted it out myself or whatever, but I try to give it a like. But I'm like, yeah, I already posted it or seen it and stuff as well too. So yeah, I feel it when everybody posts the same stuff, because some of the people you posting it from we curate from as well too. So I see it and I'm like, okay, well, let me go ahead and and like this up. But yeah, I see a lot of that same things as well too. So I just, go ahead and try to like it when I can. But yeah, man, this is gonna be an interesting space here tonight as well too. Y'all make sure y'all go ahead and tweet it out, and I guess we'll go ahead and jump up on it real quick as well too, and get this thing rolling. If anybody wants to say something before we go ahead and get it rolling, feel free. Feel free. And I'm gonna actually read it from I printed up one actual paper, but I'm gonna actually be reading it from the actual site. So only thing about reading it from the sites is you have a lot of times the advertisement and things of that nature get in the way and kind of clutter it up. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get into it, man. And hopefully we have some of our people come up here and speak as well. And I want to go ahead and touch up on this thing with Mark Taylor, the football trainer, real quick. Very short article from Black Sports Online. I'm going to put that up in the Jumbotron. Once I cover these topics, then I'll go back. I was kind of late getting into the space tonight. That's why I started at 8:05. So I'm going to go ahead and put that up in the Jumbotron. But yeah, we want to cover a number of things tonight. But titled Videos of Football Trainer Mark Taylor saying the N-word and how he wants to hang black women. And that's like a thing tonight. Like people talk about hanging black folks. Black Sports Online. College football trainer Mark Taylor makes the majority of his money working with young black men, but he hates black people passionately. Taylor has affiliations with high-profile coaches like Dabo Swinney and Nick Saban. He was caught on camera telling the world how he truly feels about black people. Mark Taylor, a football trainer based in Georgia, was criticized after videos of him making racist remarks about the city of Atlanta went viral on social media. The clips have sparked mass outrage online. The videos feature Mark saying that he had not seen a single white person in Atlanta. The trainer kept on ranting about how almost everyone in the city was black. 3 videos of Mark, the owner of Speed Edge Sports, were uploaded on social media. And one of them, he joked about hiring somebody to hunt down and hang black people in Atlanta. And another follow-up video, a car driven by a black woman appears to cut off Mark in the street. The trainer immediately got upset and mentioned it to his friend Ro again, saying, "Ro, look at this nigga trying to pull out in front of me right here." He then panned the camera over to the woman, rhetorically asked her from his car while pointing at a tree on the side of the street, "Do you see that tree right there? Ro will hang you from that tree." The videos are very disturbing, and I hope they end Taylor's career. No school should ever be associated with him again, and any player training with him, whether black or white, should be fired immediately. Sadly, in this country, some white people will smile in your face and make money off of you and want to hang you from a tree when you aren't around. So yeah, that was circulating last week. This dude Mark Taylor, and I seen him up there. I think it was a picture with him and Jalen Hurts. He was posted with Jalen Hurts up there on social media as well too. So he makes his money from black men, and it's kind of like you had when you had a few months ago. Y'all remember we did the space on Tommy Tuberville, and he was cutting the fool about reparations. Now Tommy Tuberville, this Peckerwood from Alabama, makes all his money. Made all his money, his whole career based off of the talents of black men. And he had a field day when they started talking about reparations, and he started giving all these racist remarks about reparations and black people and this and that or whatever. Mind you, Tuberville is a senator as well too. So this just goes to show that these people who've amassed fortunes, and Tuberville's made anywhere from $20-25 million in his career being a coach at Ole Miss and Auburn and some of these other places as well too. They amass these fortunes off the talent of black men and can't stand a black man. Only use they have for a black man or a black person in general is simply what a black person can do for them. As long as you out there on that football field wearing 15-pound pads with a hard hat on, running over other people, tackling people, catching the ball, filling these 60, 70, 80,000 seat stadiums, getting them new contract extension, getting them television extensions, getting them all kind of money out the wazoo from endorsements and everything else. Really, really bankrolling these schools, the SEC schools, the ACC schools, the Big Ten schools, the Pac-12 schools, the Big 12, whatever it is. These black players in football and basketball, because football and basketball are the only two money makers in collegiate athletics, and the bulk of it comes from black people, making these Peckerwoods fist over dollars, and they sitting up here going off. Now this chump here, he's sitting up here. Nobody knows him because he doesn't have a national name, but yet and still, he's still making money. He has an academy and everything else that he's making money. He's supposed to be this trainer or whatever. He has such a hatred for black people Yet most of the ones I'm sure that he trained are black, and he's in Atlanta. Now, if you hate Atlanta that much, if Atlanta's got that so black, well, why don't you move your ass out of Atlanta, go to a city that's predominantly white, and only train white athletes as well? Go ahead and just train the white kids. Don't worry about training any black players. Move to a lily white society, move to a lily white city. Don't ever train any more black players, and go ahead and make your money off of that. And the same with Tommy Tuberville. Tommy Tuberville should have stayed coaching one of these D2, D3 schools, one of these prep Ivy League type schools, and went there and coached and seen if he would have made $25, $30 million off of exclusively just coaching white players. Professor, go ahead. You got it.
Okay, thank you, Newstoter. Brother, you was 100% on everything you just said right there. That motherfucker, and along with these other ones, need to go somewhere else to live. Move out of Atlanta. Move somewhere else. Go where you can only coach or mentor your own people. Don't worry about trying to coach the black athletes. But let me get on the black athletes while we in this topic about this guy, Mark Taylor. See, this is why when you hear DJ talk about these guys not doing nothing for the community and we can't depend on these athletes, this is what we're talking about. See, this guy, Mark Taylor, should be called out right now by every black male athlete across the globe. Do you understand what I'm saying, family? Every black male athlete right now should be going in on this clown. See? Because, see, you making money from your athletic abilities. You're making millions of dollars. Some of you might not be making millions. Some of you might be making, depending on how high you are in your particular field, some athletes make around 200 grand, 300 grand, 400 grand. But the ones that are really highly drafted athletes, they're going to be up there in those millions, okay? These are the guys that need to be on the line speaking out, okay? Just because you're an athlete and you're making them dollars, don't think that these folks don't hate you. They hate your guts. And they would love to hang you from a tree, just like they would the average black Joe, okay? Black athletes and all black celebrities need to be on the same tip that we are on in the grassroots level. Everybody need to be out here trying to fight to stop this racist shit that we see going on. But what are these high celebrity black athletes are doing? A lot of them staying quiet and they're not speaking out. This is a problem, y'all. This is a problem. But as DJ has said many times, we can't depend on these folks to do anything. But they still black in society here. And they still are hated the same way we are hated. So, with that being said, I'm going to land my plane there.
Absolutely, Professor. And it's been pretty silent with a lot of these black athletes as well, too. Like you said, you don't hear outcry from them. They're not saying anything. They're not on ESPN. They're not bombing social media with comments about this right here. So a lot of these black athletes, especially in football in particular, you would think would go ahead and say something. Oh, my bad. I had, you know what? I was just talking, man, and I had my mic muted. So my bad. I was talking. I'm like, yeah, and you're right. Like these athletes, they're not. And Buffy, I'm going to get right to you. These athletes not saying anything, Professor. You're right. They sitting up here, and especially these football players, more than any other athlete, the football players should be the ones going in and going ahead and canceling this dude right now. Like, look, thanks, but no thanks for your services. You're running your mouth, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to put you out of business. So you don't hear any. You need it first. The college football players should be saying something. The NFL players should be saying something as well too. If you're a parent and you got a high school player, and you know if he wants to train with this joker, definitely say hell no to that as well too. So you got to start having the athletes actually stepping up, saying something about this stuff right here. They're not saying anything about it.
Well, what can they say? You know, they got to take that white paycheck, man. So
no, I mean this guy just a trainer. You ain't got to train with him. There's all kind of trainers out there.
Right. But here's the thing that we fail to realize, because we don't own the business and his white counterpart, related family, friends do, you feel what I'm saying? He will always be guaranteed a job. This is why we got to go fuck with Ice Cube in the Big Three. You know, build the Negro League back. You know, hey, come up on social.com, subscribe to Newstoter.com. It's all black. So when we talk about being amongst ourselves and delineating, well, shit, that's what they've been doing. We got to do the same thing. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, because I think you got enough trainers out there, and hell, even some of these kids coming out of high school, they in the weight that they in the strength and weight conditioning programs and stuff like that. Then you get to college. I don't think you have to train with this guy. You can go ahead and cancel him. You got guys in the NFL. Jalen Hurts was one. Jalen Hurts should have came out, and I saw a picture with him. Jalen Hurts was like, whoa, I got a big problem with this. I took a picture with this dude. I worked with him before. Like, I didn't know he felt this way. Jalen Hurts just signed a $200-something million contract. So we can't sit up here and say that some of these guys got tens of millions of dollars in NFL. A lot of them making seven figures, not just six, but seven figures. They can sit up here, the ones that's got these contracts. They can come out here and say, hey, we finna go ahead and we finna cancel you, bro. And they're not doing that. And Jalen Hurts, nobody can say that Jalen Hurts, who just came out of a Super Bowl, who just signed this massive contract, right now the richest contract in football, can't come out here and say, you know what? I was seen on the picture with Mark Taylor. I'm totally offended and taken back by what he said. I did not know that he had these racist views about black people and trying to harm black people. I would just like to go ahead and say that I want to have nothing to do with him. I want to have nothing to do with his company. I'm pulling back from him. That's the end of it. I have nothing to say about this man whatsoever again. And anybody that does, I really want to have no dealing with you. Nothing's going to happen to Jalen Hurts if he says that. Nobody's going to sit out and say, Jalen Hurts should sit down and shut his mouth. Even the rednecks that feel that, they're not going to come out and say that because they know it's going to be a backlash against them. So, Professor's right. You got to come out and say something.
Yes, dude, because what makes me angry about this, and I'm sorry, but we're going to get to you, is because we're talking about this man talking about hanging black women. So we definitely need the guys like him, Jalen Hurts, and others to take a stand, to at least speak out for the sisters, man. See, this is the problem. This is why sisters will say, goddamn black men don't try to do anything to protect us. And see, this is what they can say right now. This man talking about hanging black women. It should be every black man out there right now, especially these top black athletes, speaking out against this motherfucker right now. Buffy, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you got it, Buffy.
No, you're fine. I totally agree with you. Definitely at least the ones that's connected to the University of Georgia, because that's his. That's on all his social media pages. Was his most recent employer was the University of Georgia, and I watched the videos. He literally said he need to call his boys and come down to Atlanta and go hunting. Okay? And I believe them when they say stuff like that. I believe a lot of random murders that go unsolved is due to crackers like him. I do believe that. It's no secret that my son is an athlete. He spent some time in the NFL. He's in the CFL now. And I've dealt with coaches like that before. And what you have to understand, see, a lot of these athletes, they come from absolutely nothing. The only thing they have is their talent, so they won't speak up because they don't want to mess up any opportunities. Their families are dependent on them. I've seen it firsthand. But as far as, like you said, Newstoter, the established seven-figure athletes who have had connections with this man, or even if they haven't had any connections with him, he's went viral saying that there should be more people coming out condemning what he said. It was horrible. Definitely horrible.
Real talk. And somebody like Jalen Hurts, these guys are 9-figure salary people. So, not only that, when something like this comes out and it's directly, when you look at the programs that he's been associated with, you said Georgia, then you got, he's had affiliations with coaches like Dabo Swinney, who's at Clemson, for those that don't know, affiliations with Nick Saban, who's considered the greatest coach ever of all time at the University of Alabama. Well, now you look at Clemson roster, you look at Georgia roster, you look at Alabama roster, and you look each year, the amount of players they put in the NFL. Georgia, I think last year put in the first round, they had over 5 or 6 or 7 people. If you look at just Clemson, Alabama, and Georgia, and you add up what they put in the NFL every year, you're talking about 25, 30 guys that they put in the NFL every single solitary year. You talk about their entire rosters are 85% black. So if nobody on that team says anything, okay, you can say, well, you can understand, well, maybe these guys in college. But we saw the college athletes back in 2020 after the George Floyd situation started speaking up, started using their platform, started using their voices to go ahead and start to hold some of these programs and these coaches and everything else accountable. So I know goodness well, if a college athlete can do that, who doesn't have the kind of money, and I know you got this NIL money that's coming into college now, but that's pretty much brand new. I know goodness well the professional players in the NFL should be the ones saying something. They should be the ones saying something. Like I say, Jalen Hurts, everybody saw his picture with the guy more than anybody else. Jalen Hurts should have been one of the very first names to come out and say, hey, I do not condone this, and I want to have nothing to do with this. Or this man right here, I was offended by what he said. It's dangerous, blase, blase. And until you start getting black athletes, they got the platforms. When you these athletes got on their social media followers, they got tens of thousands of people. Some of them got millions of followers. They have the platform to go ahead and to put people in check. And until they start using that platform, they can't really complain about racism and unfairness. If you're not gonna sit up there like Professor said, good Lord, this dude's sitting up here talking about hanging black women. He's sitting up here calling a black woman a nigger and this and that. Buffy, you said that he's talking about coming to Atlanta and going hunting and stuff. So now you want to hunt black people down like dogs and animals as well, too. So good Lord, if you can't say something about that and all you can do is go out there and run a goddamn ball or tackle somebody, man, and you really don't need to have a voice. And you don't need to complain about anything that goes sideways in this country as well, too. You got millions of people that know you, millions of followers, millions of people looking at you daily. Come on, man. You got to say something.
And in that video, Newstoter, I guess he's at a light, right? So he pans his phone camera to the black woman that's sitting in her car at the light, and then he pans it up at a tree. He said, "You see that tree right there? You see that tree right there? Something we used to hang. We'll hang you. Back in the day, or something. We would hang you from that tree." Or yeah, it was just horrible. Then he's in his room, changing his voice to sound like so-called black man talking about, send some hoes up here. I said, oh, wow. Yeah, it was horrible.
Yes, ma'am. Definitely. And I see we got Tammy. Tammy, we ain't seen you up here in a hot minute. What's going on, Tammy? How you doing?
I'm doing well. Just kind of coming back after a little break. I see y'all still chopping it up. I'm happy to hear about that and see that.
We miss you, Tammy. We miss you, Tammy.
I miss y'all too. Sometimes you just gotta
tell them they might. Tell them they might just well.
Hey, this my time. This my time. I'm back. And I live in upstate Tennessee, who actually on the record, one of the politicians suggested that we put on the law about lynching by hanging. That we implement that as part of execution as well. So very familiar with this whole concept, disrespectful as hell to just humanity. And you want to go to war about how you execute someone who has the death penalty. But when it comes to lynching, that's the word you wanted to use. And it wasn't an automatic ooh in the audience or man. Nobody said a word, but you did say something. That was your answer. And that is the problem. Because we don't have the respect that we deserve still in America in 2023. Y'all know I'm an activist about it, and I've talked about it in this Newstoter. And it wasn't surprising to me, and that's the point. It's about an hour and a half, and she lives in Sparta, Tennessee. And we're still having those conversations. We're still dealing with how do you respond to some shiggity like that because they voted them in. When you live in a state of Republicans and they are actually continuing to either not vote, which is a vote. And I know some of you say, bump this legal system, but that's the legal system that keeps us oppressed. That's the legal system that they have implemented. And for us to just say, I'm not voting, you still are voting. You still have to wake up in a system that oppresses stronger than ever, more knowledgeable than ever. I appreciate y'all.
All right. Well, it's glad to have you back. Glad to hear you sounding stronger than ever as well, too. So definitely glad that you decided to join us tonight as well, Tammy. So definitely when you hear something you want to chime in, just go ahead and raise your hand and we'll get to you. We're gonna go ahead and real quick and talk about this situation going on also in Oklahoma as well, too. Let me go ahead and cover this real quick, guys. Give me 1 second. Let me find this article. It's up in the Jumbotron as well. So on the far right-hand side, it says the FBI now investigating Republican officials in Oklahoma caught on audio talking about lynching Black Americans. The last recording lynching in Oklahoma occurred in 1930, according to the Oklahoma Historical Society. But just earlier this month, some county leaders were caught on audio discussing killing reporters and complaining they could no longer lynch Black people. Oklahoma's Governor Kevin Stitt has now called for the resignations of sheriff and other top officials in a rural county after they were recorded talking about the beating, killing, and burying a father and son team of local reporters and saying they wish they could hang Black people from a damn rope. McCurtain County Sheriff Kevin Clarity, County Commissioner Mark Jennings, Sheriff's Investigator Alicia Manning, and Jail Administrator Larry Hendrick have all been asked to step down after McCurtain County Gazette News published an article about what was captured on the recording. NBC News reported, "I am both appalled and disheartened to hear of the horrid comments made by officials in McCurtain County," Stitt, a Republican, said in a statement. "There is simply no place for such hateful rhetoric in the state of Oklahoma, especially by those that serve to represent the community through their respective office." Stitt has also ordered the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation to initiate an investigation to determine whether any illegal conduct has occurred. The audio was published on April 16th by the print-only newspaper McCurtain Gazette News, which released a transcript of damaging recording from a county commissioners meeting from March to the public. The full audio recording will be released by the newspaper later, WCPT radio reported. The station also reported that the Federal Bureau of Investigation is looking into the accused officials. While the local government officials outlawed lynching, it was not until 2022 the federal government took action, NPR reported. That year, the Senate unanimously passed a bill that criminalizes lynching and makes it punishable up to 30 years in prison, the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act, after the 14-year-old boy from Chicago who was lynched while visiting family in Mississippi was signed by President Joe Biden. So that real quick, y'all, I want to touch up on that. And I'm going to touch up real quick also on this thing going on in Disneyland here as well, too. The Pride Night. This is from the LA Times. Is also up in the Jumbotron. It says Pride Night officially coming to Disneyland in June. Pride Night is officially coming to the happiest place on earth in June. Disneyland announced Thursday that it will hold its first official LGBTQ Pride Night on June 13th and 15th from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. Tickets for Pride Night, part of the Themes Park Disneyland at the Dark Series, will go on sale April 20th for $139. The Anaheim Park drew inspiration from its Parisian sibling for the Pride Night, according to Disneyland officials. In 2019, Disneyland Paris was the first to hold an official Pride event. After a 3-year hiatus, the event will return this summer. Disneyland's announcement comes as a Burbank entertainment company continues to face backlash in Florida for opposing the state's Don't Say Gay law. Florida and its governor, Ron DeSantis, have been in dispute with Disney since the company opposed a state law last year that prohibits instruction on sexual orientation and gender identity from kindergarten through 3rd grade. Under pressure from Disney employees, Disney's then chief executive Bob Chapek said he called DeSantis to express our disappointment and concern over the bill, which was signed into law last spring. In response, DeSantis and the state dissolved the special tax district where Disney operates Walt Disney World, Epcot, and other resorts with near complete autonomy. With Disneyland's announcement that Pride Night was coming to the West Coast, the reaction on social media was mixed. Many expressed excitement and suggested which Disney characters, like the Country Bears and Ursula, should make an appearance. Pride Night will include a dance party with characters in special attire and photo opportunities with Pride-themed backdrops, Disneyland officials said. Pride Night comes more than 25 years after the unofficial but immensely popular Gay Days, which began as an after-hours event when the park could be rented out for private parties. Gay Days is now held during park hours and attracts thousands of LGBTQ attendants each year. Organizers of Gay Days Anaheim responded positively to the announcement of Pride Night. In the wake of everything that's happening in the country, that Disney is coming out in support of the community and inviting the community in this way, I think is a great thing, said Eddie Shapiro, organizer at Gay Days Anaheim. Disney is obviously saying out loud, we as a company are not cowed by the events in Florida, nor should they be, Shapiro said. I'm glad that they're saying that. But Shapiro also noted the irony of Pride Night being held in similar fashion to the first iteration of Gay Days. I think it's kind of funny that 25 years later, Disney is ready not to have an unofficial thing, but an official thing. And we're back to having an after-hours late-night event, he said. Although Shapiro expressed some concern about Disney stepping into a space, Gay Days has been filling successfully for more than 2 decades. He also said the events can and will coexist. Disney can put on lavish and theoretical productions with LGBTQ themes, Shapiro said, while Gay Days can host its own events and parties outside the parks. I think both will continue to be able to do things that others can't, Shapiro said. So I just wanted to go ahead and touch up on that real quick. And like I said, that article is from the LA Times as well, too. It's up in the Jumbotron. Go ahead, Tammy, you got it.
Okay, so everybody knows that, well, if you don't, I'm a psychotherapist, and I am very inclusive. And I really do believe that there should be a separation of church and state. And I know that people have their opinions, but I think if we look one step further, America is a country that is supposed to be inclusive, and we do more exclusion than I've ever seen in any other country that I've read about or visited. I know that there will be some talk about whether or not, this should be a day or whatever, but I really do want you to put your mindset on discriminating against people being people. Children growing up and having to deal with feelings and emotions that they don't know what to do with. And I work in this field where I get firsthand knowledge and I meet some of these people and the distress and hurt that they go through and the high rate of suicidality that happens. So I just wanted to say that we need to take a stand based on people being free, in my opinion. So that's what I wanted to say, Newstoter.
Okay. I'm just going to say this part right here, Tammy. Since I've been alive, I've never seen Disney or any of these other theme parks that, gay people can't attend actual Disney or Busch Gardens or Six Flags Atlantis or anything like that as well. So, inclusion, to my knowledge, everybody who goes to Disney World is pretty much free to go in there, so I don't think that, they're having a pride night. And, now if they had a black night, everybody in the world would be upset. If Disney tomorrow say, you know what, we're going to have a black night, after hours session where only black people can come in there, then, Disney stock would will plummet. People be online talking about how wrong they were, how racist they were, and this and that or whatever. So I think when you start having things like that, when you start and, they're going ahead and they're taking, and like I say, I believe any and everybody should be able to go wherever they want to go at. But when you start having things exclusively for one group of people, and let's be for real, Disney was built on being one of the most racist places there were for black people. It was a long time before black people could actually go up in that theme park. So if not, like I said, if you're going to have a pride night, what's next? You're going to have a straight night, you're going to have a black night, you're going to have a Hispanic night, a Latino night, an Asian night. So I think you got to kind of look at it from that situation like that before. Like I say, I don't think you should discriminate against anybody. If people want to come there, fine, let them come there and party or whatever. Let them go and enjoy it or whatever. But I can't understand some of the kickback you're gonna get on this right here, because like I said, if the shoe was on the other foot and Disney was gonna sit up here and they were gonna have a black days, African American days or whatever kind of days you want to, and it was going to be after the theme park and this and that or whatever, everybody and their mother would be sitting up here complaining and saying, that's not fair. Now Disney's doing affirmative action for black people, and that's not right. And how come you doing this? And if you can have a black day, why can't you have a white day and this and that or whatever? So I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm really mixed on that. I'm here in Florida, and we don't have Disneyland. We have Disney World. Disneyland was first. Disney World is big, and Disney World became the actual show. I'm more than mixed on that. I don't think that I think that if you're a public place like that, you're a theme park. I feel like you don't need to have a special night for anybody in particular like that. It should be open to the public every night. So I have a little issue with that. Now the characters are going to be. I mean, the characters are going to be what in LGBT colors and stuff like that, rainbow colors. So, like I said, to me, it's kind of you're kind of picking favorites in this thing right here. So that's just my personal opinion. I know you work with people, and you deal with a lot of things in psychology and everything else and trauma and whatnot. And I'm just gonna have to say that I'm not a proponent of this. I don't really like it. I don't really think it's fair. And like I said, Disney was one of the most racist places in the world for black people at one time. They got away with it, and they started including black people before. So now, if any group that you're gonna talk about having a special damn night for, it should be black people, considering at one time they weren't even fit to come into your damn theme park. So yeah, I'm not really feeling that myself personally. Like I said, and I think that gay kids, straight kids, bisexual kids, trans kids, non-binary, binary, the whole nine should be able to come into that theme park every single solitary day that it's open. I don't think you should have a day exclusively for anybody. The park is open. It's open to the general public. Any and everybody should be able to come in there, enjoy themselves as long as they got the money to pay to come in and have a go at it. So yeah, I'm not really feeling that. Like I said, we create all these special things for every other little group and special interest groups and stuff like that. But for the people who really put a lot of these things into place, there are no special groups and there's nothing specifically for them or whatever. So everybody gets a piece of it. But then if you say like we're gonna do this for black people, everybody be up in arms and everybody be pissed off and talking about how messed up it is, and they'll be boycotting Disney, and Disney stock will go through the goddamn ground. So they be losing money fist over dollar. Buffy, you got to go ahead. Unmute your mic.
Thank you, Newstoter. I totally agree with you. I mean, let's be honest. A lot of these people put themselves in a position to be around kids. Okay, the whole pedophilia, that whole. I'm not saying that we don't have sickos in our own backyard, but I do believe, of course, they're going to support that whole movement. How many times in Florida have they had bus and there was like multiple workers from Disney World and Disneyland that was working there that was trying to do inappropriate things with kids. I just, I'm not homophobic, and that's another thing I hate when you have a difference of an opinion about the situation. The first thing they say is that you're homophobic or you're transphobic, and that's not the case. I feel it's really bullying. They're really bullying their beliefs onto everybody else, just like the whole bathroom issue. Like, why is it so important to where you use the bathroom? Like, you're in there for a few minutes, you're urinating or you're doing the number two. I just don't get that whole fight either. I don't say too much about it. I stay in my lane because it can get very controversial. But at the end of the day, as far as that whole movement with Disney, yeah, it's a little. I think it's not always what it seems. It goes deeper. Let me tell you, that whole pedophilia thing, that is a well-oiled machine. It is a well-oiled machine. You can put your fingers down all you want to. I'm not saying that Disney promotes pedophilia. That is not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that all gay people are connected to pedophilia. However, what I'm saying is it is a well-oiled machine, and there's some very high-ranking people that is involved in that kind of thing. You would be amazed at the people that's involved in that. And everything isn't always what it seems. Sometimes things are more sinister and a lot deeper than the surface.
All right. Thank you, Buffy. I know, Tammy, you want to go ahead and respond. Anybody else that wants to speak as well, too, please go ahead. For those coming into the space, we're talking about Mark Taylor, who's a football trainer who was caught saying racist things about hanging black women and coming to Atlanta and saying Atlanta was basically a nigger town and everything else. We are talking about the GOP, some of the GOP Republicans out there in Oklahoma that was caught also talking about hanging black people as well out there. So we covered that, and we're covering this thing about the Pride Night that Disneyland is having out there in Anaheim. They're having a Pride Night. So with those are 3 topics. Feel free to go ahead and raise your hand and come up and contribute to the conversation if you like to speak. We have no issue with that. So shout out to everybody in the space as well. And like I say, feel free to come on up here and get the microphone, request the microphone. We will definitely allow you to speak. Go ahead, Tammy, you got it.
Today I watched a police officer get sentenced to 25 to 50 years for his role in pedophilia. I don't think, when I hear pedophilia equated to LGBT, it's very interesting because they're very separate. LGBT is not a psychiatric illness. Pedophilia is considered a psychiatric illness that you need treatment for. And we don't know a whole lot about it because we haven't studied it. Because you're right, it has been a lot of high-ranking officials dealing with it. But to bring it in the same group as LGBT, I want to say that that's not accurate. Pedophilia is a crime. You can, look at the Catholic Church. They've had more priests go to jail for pedophilia than people who identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transsexual, questioning than ever. But that's the only point I want to make. Pedophilia is a crime. Pedophilia is an illness that can't be medicated, unfortunately.
Okay.
And I'm sorry.
No.
Newstoter, can I respond?
Go ahead real quick. You got it.
Real quick.
No, you got it. Go ahead, because you got it. Go ahead. Nobody's up here trying to speak, so you got it.
Real quick. I absolutely agree with you. What I was saying is sometimes the lines can be blurred. As far as when you think of, drag queens at libraries reading to children. Okay, those lines can be blurred easily. Sometimes, the lines can meet. I'm not saying that I align just pedophilia exclusively with the gay community. That's not. Please, I apologize if that's what I'm just saying that sometimes, certain communities just, they can use certain communities as a guise. Pretty much. That's the only way I can say it. I just wanted to add that real quick. But I agree with you, Ms. Tam.
Yeah, and like I say, I'm not linking pedophilia to LGBTQ myself. I'm just saying that I feel like that they're getting a special treatment compared to everybody else. That's all I'm saying. The actual throughout the course of the year, every day the theme park is open to any and everybody who wants to come in there. So to sit up here and say like, well, we're gonna have a special night exclusively for your group and for no other group, I think it's kind of wrong. Now, I mean, like I say, if you had that, if they had a night exclusively for black people, everybody in the world be complaining about that. Everybody, oh, well, you can't just have that. Now they do have special nights because they had a grad night at Disney World that we attended here in Florida. Well, for the seniors, the graduating class that year, they go to grad night. So I'm sure they have special nights, but to sit up here and say, you know what, we're going to have a special night specifically for a certain group of people based on sexuality or race or gender or something like that, then, a lot of people will kind of get upset about that. And you can kind of understand that as well, too. But I'm just going to say my personal opinion, I don't think they should be having it. That's how I feel personally. I don't think that you need to have an actual Pride night Because if you had a Black Pride night, everybody in the world would be up in the fence. If you had a Black Pride night and they said they was gonna have the Disney characters with a black glove on their right hand, sticking their hand up in the air, holy Lord! I mean, you would have people from all over every corner of this world sitting up here crying and complaining about how much y'all gonna give black people, how much you gonna pacify them, how much you gonna kiss their ass, how much you gonna do for them, and this and that. That's not right. So I just don't believe that you should be having that personally myself, and that's just my personal feeling. Original, and then I'm gonna go to Tammy. You got the original. How you doing tonight?
Original.
You got that right. Yeah, see, I've already ran you off once. You want me to do it again? Yeah, but what I want to say though is that, see, now let's not forget now, homosexuality was in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, and it was considered a psychological disorder. That is true. Now, what happened is you had a number of gay psychiatrists and psychologists. They schemed, scammed, and plotted and lobbied to have it taken out of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual. That is true. If you go to this website, it's called thisamericanlife.org. And in the website's search box, you type in 81 words. And it is somewhat of a podcast-like documentary where this white lady, she, documented how after her grandmother passed, her grandfather came out as gay. And he was a psychiatrist. He and his psychiatrist friends, they sat around her kitchen table and they schemed, scammed, and plotted on how they would have homosexuality taken out of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual. Now, what I find odd is that if anyone doesn't agree with the gay agenda, all of a sudden they call them homophobic. Now, a phobia is an irrational fear of something. And irrational is the key. A phobia is an irrational fear of something or someone. So when you don't agree with the gay agenda, then all of a sudden they want to call you crazy when homosexuality was in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual as a psychological disorder. And I don't think that's right, because if you don't want to be called crazy, then don't call anyone else crazy. That's just how that works, And so people need to understand that, because I keep hearing, some people say that, well, pedophilia is different or whatever. If a man likes to have sex with a little boy, you can call it pedophilia, but that's still homosexuality. There's no way around that.
What about with a little girl?
Well, that's in a different category. That's called statutory rape.
Yep.
Okay, that's called statutory rape. So, but if he is attracted to little boys, that is a form of homosexuality. I see, and see, the issue that I take is people like to continue to compartmentalize these things, but like I said before, with that agenda, then you are called homophobic, which means, and a phobia has to be clinically diagnosed by a clinician. And if you can't, if you don't have the skills or the education to diagnose someone as being having psychological issue, you should not call that word homophobia should not be used at all. See, that is always used to shut down the dialogue, because it's kind of just like the small hats when people say, oh, and by the way, that anti-Semitism bill did not pass in Georgia, and they got a campaign there about this little blue box, regarding how they're going to try to get it passed across the country. So we need to watch out for that too. But anyway, I'm not trying to attack anyone. All I'm saying is that, see, no one has an issue when we're called all kind of pejorative names. But with this specific group of people, especially the white ones, people get upset and they go off on all kind of tangents. Because, see, I watched one of Tyreek Nasheed's broadcasts. So this black gay guy, he came on the phone and talked to Tyreek. And he asked Tyreek if gay people were allowed to come to the Hitchens. And Tyreek said yes. But see, he was so brainwashed by the white gay folks, or gay white folks, because they put their gay first. And Tyreek stopped. He said, oh, I was taking a yard up earlier, full grass around my mouth. But he said to Tyreek, y'all don't like gay people. Tyreek said, that's not true. And then so Tyreek asked him, he said, look, are you aware that it was some black heterosexual people, including myself, who worked with the black gay community to get Ed Buck locked up? See, he didn't know that. But see, people go on all these tangents about, well, black people this, or FBA this, or ADOS that, this, that, whatever. But see, the thing of it is, see, he did not know that Tyreek had assisted, he and some other heterosexual black people had assisted in getting that white boy locked up. Because the former DA of LA, Jackie Lacey, see, Ed Buck, she was a cheap hoe. Ed Buck, because I pulled up who had given her her donation record. Ed Buck gave her $100 for a campaign contribution. So she was a cheap hoe. So she wouldn't file any charges. So they ended up having to go to use a federal statute to get him locked up. Because see, and that goes on across this country where these black elected officials and the black so-called leaders and other high-profile black people, they take money from these white folks, and then when it comes to issues pertaining to us, they look the other way. And that has to stop. But people need to stop using that word, homophobia. And I'm not trying to attack anyone or anything, but I'm just saying that, people, that issue about, pedophilia needs to be, re-examined. Because like I say, if a man is attracted to a little boy, come on now, that is nothing but homosexuality. Now, the little girl, statutory rape, child rape, whatever you want to call it. But I'll land with that.
All righty. Ooh, Original, let me ask you real quick before you land. What do you think about the situation? I don't know if you heard when I was talking about Mark Taylor, the football trainer up there in your neck of woods, in Georgia, in Atlanta, talking about all the black people. Is Atlanta so black he ain't seen a white person? And he was talking about hanging black women. Also, what do you feel about the situation going on in Oklahoma, where you had quite a few people in high positions in Oklahoma caught on recording talking about wanting to lynch black people as well too?
Well, my issue, with this Mark Taylor issue, I saw a video online, but I didn't know who he was, because I really don't follow sports really heavy like I used to. But I think he needs to be fired from whatever job he has. And black parents, they need to stand up. There is no, well, he's always been nice to my son, and he just probably just he didn't have a bad day. That hate against black people is in white people's DNA. They hate us with their passion, and that came out of him. He didn't think anybody would see that. And these people have not changed at all. And I keep hearing some black folks saying, well, look, they haven't changed since there was a video on YouTube. If you type in, let's see, former slave tell reporter, I think it's former slave tell reporter, he's still sick. The enslaved person name is Fountain Hughes. So this was done through the ABC Nightline or something like that. What's that guy? Capo something, whatever his name is. But anyway, so there was this white reporter was interviewing one of our formerly enslaved ancestors, and his name is Fountain Hughes. And Fountain said, you still sick. You still got the disease. Say you ain't cured. See, our people knew exactly who these people were. They are the scum of the earth. But see, they get black people to abide by their religious belief, their God, and they say, well, even though I did that to you, but according to the Bible, you got to forgive me. Oh, I'm going to beat the hell out your ass. Shit. Oh, excuse me. But I'm going to beat the hell out of you. Oh, we ain't playing that no more. And so that's why black people are in the position that we're in. And with the people in Oklahoma talking about hanging black people, see, most black people don't understand. See, white people, they're into doing rituals with black people, and hanging is a ritual for them. See, as I said before, you all may not remember, there was a young brother. I can't think of the brother's name. I think his parents may have been divorced. But this brother, he was going to school in Mississippi somewhere, and he thought he had made friends with this white boy. So that him and the white boy was driving somewhere, and they got pulled over. The young brother was arrested for whatever reason. The white boy wasn't. So the young brother was lynched in a jail in Mississippi, and they claimed that he hung himself. But see, where it got really tricky was the white boy's daddy tried to have the little brother cremated to cover up the evidence. Now, he's nowhere near being related to this child, but he tried to have him cremated. See, I think sometimes people get comfortable. Let me rephrase that. Some black people get comfortable around these white folks, and they think they can trust them. But like that song, The Undisputed Truth says, smiling faces tell lies. They don't tell the truth. Can you dig it? You know? And so I think I'm not shocked by what they said. Now, see, now if you notice, here's the trick to that. Now you notice how some black people, they are stupid enough to believe that they can align with the white girl. Now you heard that white girl in that video saying, yeah, and she was agreeing with him and going on and this, that, and whatever. And see, y'all brother that's down with the swirl, y'all better, cause see, you might wake up dead one morning and she having you for breakfast. So I'm not shocked by this. Doesn't shock me because see, a lot of people, I won't say all, but a lot of people in the South, we know how sick these people are. We know how degenerate they are. They ain't nowhere near being a Christian. Because see, here's the thing, if they were a Christian, why do they treat black folks the way that they do and justify it? Then they say, now you remember, just like when it was a brother, he was at one of those Trump rallies when Trump was running for the White House, and this old white guy cold cocked him and hit him. This dumbass fool, he gonna sit up there and go into a court of law, hugging on the damn, and let the damn fool off. Now, we can look at them sideways, and they would never let us off. See, just like when our people would run away from being enslaved, they still come track them. I mean, they would track, someone would try to track them down. If they were still alive, they try to track them down today. So this doesn't shock me. I just tell black people, be aware of the people that you affiliate with. Because it's like they'll ask you to go out for a company. No, I'm good. Or they want to, have a potluck. Oh, no, I'm good. I always tell them, well, I'm doing a cleanse. I got to bring me a salad to eat. I bring my own food. I'm not eating out of their house because they pass right up in their kitchen. But this doesn't surprise me. That is who what it is, that's who these people are. And black people, if you don't wake up and understand that white people, I don't care if they Democrat, Republican, independent, or whatever. Because see, here's another clincher. Now, according to one news report I was watching, I can't think of what it was, but they said that more people are not aligning themselves with a political party. They said that a lot of people are aligning themselves to be independent. But see, here's the trick bag. But they said a lot of them are leaning towards the Republican Party. See, that's that trick bag they always play. See, that's why I always say, for the most part, if someone says they're independent, more than likely they are a vehement anti-black racist Republican in disguise. That's what that is. So people, like I say, no, these people don't change. They have not changed one iota. That's who they are, and just hearing how what they were saying, something about how they wouldn't have did it. I think it was something that said they wouldn't have did this back in the day or whatever. But this is who these people are, and black folks, you better understand that and wake up. Because if you think that you can go and have dinner with one of your white coworkers, you don't know if they're setting you up to be kidnapped after the dinner, before or after the dinner is over. And then when your people say, well, where are you? Well, they left the restaurant, before we did. We don't know where they are. No. You white people can never. True, we have to interact with them to a certain extent, but they can never be trusted. Look at Jim Crow Joe, how he pretended to support reparation during the primaries in 2020, but when it was known he was going to be the nominee, he flipped on black folks and said that if he supported it, said the Indians had to be included. See, they never want to deal with us specifically. The Indians have already received reparations, but what he was doing was, there are a lot of $5 white people who are Indians, who call themselves Indian, like, what's her name, Elizabeth, whatever her name is. Anyway, and he's trying to put money in their pockets. And see, what would happen is, as always, how they always say black and whatever, then the whatever end up getting all the money. We still end up with nothing. So, like I said, these people have never changed. They are the personification of evil, and they are never going to change. So that's how I view that, because they're just sick as hell. And I'll land with that.
All right, Original, appreciate you. Nice little conversation you had there. You did cover the points, all of the topics up in the actual in the title. So let me go ahead and get to Tammy. I see some of our people real quick. Let me give a shout out to some of our people coming in here. I see no taxation up in here. So shout out to you. Shout out to a bunch of you guys coming up in here as well too. So if you guys want to go ahead and speak tonight, you see the actual topics. If you don't know who Mark Taylor is a football trainer who went on a racist rant, a completely racist rant talking about hanging black women and there's no black people or nothing, no black people in Atlanta, and bringing white people there to do this and do that or whatever. We're also talking about in Oklahoma. You have a bunch of high-ranking officials in Oklahoma talking about Republicans talking about lynching black people, bringing lynching back, basically lynching black people. And we're talking about Disneyland and the actual Pride Night that Disneyland is putting on as well too. So those are the three topics. Feel free to go ahead and come up here. You definitely can get the mic and express yourself and say what you want to. We definitely look forward to hearing from you guys. We want to hear all perspectives and point of views, whether you agree with them or not. Who cares? It's your perspective. It's your point of view. Nobody's gonna stop you from saying what you want to say. So by all means, come on up here, speak real quick. Up in the Jumbotron, I have the Newstoter YouTube channel on the far left-hand side. And Tammy, I see you putting stuff in there. So we got enough stuff in the Jumbotron, guys. We don't need to add no more stuff in the Jumbotron. We got more than enough stuff up there. So please, speakers, don't add any more stuff up in there, because after a while it gets hard for anybody to find the actual Newstoter stuff up in the Jumbotron. So we got more than enough stuff up there. If you want to say something, just go ahead and say it or whatever. But up on the second to the left-hand side, we have the YouTube channel up in the Jumbotron. Please, if you don't mind, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to that YouTube channel. Help us grow. We need to get to the 1,000 subs. We're about at 640, so we need to keep. We're slowly itching there. We need to kind of hit a speed bump and try to get that quicker sooner than later. So please go ahead. If you're up in the actual Twitter space tonight, please go ahead and subscribe to the actual YouTube channel. Also in the Jumbotron, we have the actual Cash App and Venmo and PayPal up in there as well too. So please, if you're trying to make a donation and you want to make a donation to the largest Black American-owned news media curation platform today in America, it would be greatly appreciated. We're asking our people if they can at least spare $1 to go ahead and to donate it to us. So if you have $1 that you can spare this month, please think about donating it to Newstoter. You can donate it to us on Cash App. That is $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Once again, that's $Newstoter. So if you have $1 that you can donate, please go ahead and think about donating it. It doesn't have to be a whole bunch of money. We understand we are living in tight times. The pockets be hurting. We understand the recession and everything else. Black unemployment is always at the highest. I don't care what group is in sitting up as president or controlling the House or the Senate. when you come to unemployment, black unemployment is always going to be at the highest, and our wages are always going to be at the lowest. But we're asking our people, if you can afford it, that's only if you can afford it, please think about donating at least $1 to Newstoter on Cash App. Once again, that is $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Like I said before, Newstoter is the largest black-owned, Black American-owned news media curation platform today in America. I like to always make that reference when I say Black American owned as well too. So this is from the actual roots here as well too. So this is right here. This is domestic. This is chattel slavery, birthed and born right here in the deep South, Florida to be exact. So let me go ahead and I'm gonna get to I want to go ahead and get to real quick. Let me go ahead and get to Miss Welsing, and then Tammy, I'll get back to you. Wait, hold on. We gotta get wait. But Tammy spoke a couple times, so we want to get to the new speakers as well. So we gotta get to the new speakers because we.
Newstoter, you know what? Let her speak, and I'm fine afterwards. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna go again.
Okay. Go ahead.
No. I'm gonna go ahead, Tammy, and since now Wilson, since she insisted, because she said it, I'm gonna go ahead and let you speak. But real quick, let me give a shout out to Rerod, and let me give a shout out to Oral as well too for their contributions on Cash App. But go ahead, Tammy, and I want to get to you, Wilson, as well too. So go ahead, Tammy.
I'm good. But what I will say is, original. I love the way you give that one piece of information to why crazy and LGBT was considered crazy. However, Black people have a long history of keeping secrets from the uncles and the brothers and the family members who molested the little boys and girls in the family, of sweeping it under the carpet. We didn't want to talk about that. We have a long history also of churches back in the day who said, oh, we'll take care of it in a spiritual way. And that's the way the Catholic Church and Jehovah's Witnesses and Baptist churches and all the other spiritual entities got away with it for so many years. So it was not necessarily that two people got in a room. I don't disagree necessarily, but that can't be your only, every single time, that's your only basis. And now today in 2023, all of these people, these little boys, these little Black kids are coming forward with the way they were molested viciously, and the parents knew about it. So we got to clean out our house. The other one thing that I wanted to make clear, y'all do your own research on these topics, because Original is very smart. I am very knowledgeable in my profession. I've been doing it for 25 years. I know the DSM-5 back and forward, but I still refer to it because I don't want to have to memorize it. I get it confused sometimes. I put the real definition and the other homophobic in the gumbo chime, because a lot of times we leave here and we get information and it categorizes in our brain as truth. And it's not necessarily a lie. But when I grew up with an uncle born on the same day that I did, and he was gay, that means I had a personal relationship with him, loved him. And we all have family members. We have to realize that we have to separate our personal beliefs from somebody else's rights. I even do that. I'm not giving always the way I feel personally, but unfortunately at this age, it has embedded with my experience. And the stories that I hear on my couch embedded with my experience in my personal life, because I've actually met face to face with someone who struggles with whether to come out as a transsexual. Nobody signs up for that. As far as our opinions are our opinions, but we were not considered, back in the day, slaves were considered what? Dumb, ignorant, didn't know how to read and write. That ain't us. We evolved. It's a lot. That's why they have different versions of the diagnostic statistical manual, because we don't know a lot about the brain. Let's just be clear. It's some of those disorders that we name disorders that may be taken out next year or redefined, or that's why we do research. Do your own research. And Original, you know I love you, and I appreciate your comments. But you know we have some significant differences, and that's fine because I'm open to hear it all.
All right. Thank you, Tammy. Let me go ahead and get to and let me real quick, Tammy. I want to say this part right here. And all Original was saying was that at one time a certain thing was it was you know, back in the day it was coined to have a mental illness or this and that or whatever. Nobody's saying that it should still have a mental illness, but he was just pointing to the reference. He also now, and I know you pointed to the gay stuff, but he also mentioned about what happened with if a man and a young girl was together as well too. So he didn't shy away from that. He called it rape as well too. So I know a lot of times he didn't just say, well, you know, he mentioned one being homosexual and he mentioned what the other one would be. So he didn't shy away from that.
I mentioned it though, Newstoter, and both of them are the same.
Well, yeah, but no, both of them aren't the same. He said one is
Yes,
one.
they are. They
No,
are both
but
statutory rape.
yeah, I'm not saying that. He's saying that one is child. He's saying that one is child rape or whatever. He said the other one is homosexuality rape as well too. So I mean, you would have to go ahead and classify it as that as well too. I mean, that would be what it would be. So I'm just saying he did point that out. He did say that, and we also have to also say this right here. Not everybody that's gay too now got gay because they were raped. Some people are gay because they choose to be gay.
Well, that's a whole different story.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story. But I just want to put that out too. Like some people choose their actual sexuality. Some people never been messed with anything like that, but they choose that hey, they're attracted to the same sex or it may.
My point is we rarely ever talk about the secrets that were kept little children in a position. I just read a book.
But I think, Tammy, and not to cut you off, but I think that's society in general. That's not a black thing, okay? Because we wouldn't have the boys clubs coming out. We wouldn't have the gymnastic team people talking about this. We wouldn't have all this stuff with the Catholic Church and all these other. So that my point here is that let's not make this into a black thing and a black family thing. This is a global thing.
I'm just talking about the black experience.
Yeah, but I'm just saying though. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I'm just saying, but let's not identify this and make. I'm just saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm saying we're not going to make this a black face thing though, because this is a global thing. This affects not just black people. This is a global issue that affects every group, every race, every ethnic group on this planet. This ain't a black thing. This has been going on for a long time. So we just not going to stick it on black men and black people. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, Tammy, let me ask you a quick question in reference to science, okay, when it comes to all of this. Because if you choose to be whatever, which we seem to see a lot of that, what type of science is that called? What is that called? It's not gay. And it's not called
the egg or the chicken.
What happened?
We say choose, but we still. Have you ever had that conversation with someone who identifies as, you know, they start having those feelings at 2, 3, 4 years old? We are the ones who decide that boys play with trucks and boys wear blue, and girls play with dolls and girls wear pink. That's a societal thing.
Well, let me ask you something. These folks that call themselves trans, right? As far as I'm concerned, maybe they should call that science transformers. But they can't seem to make up their mind what they want. They can't decide, well, can I turn into a boy this day? Or can I turn into a woman this day? Or, well, hermaphrodite this day? Aphrodite this day? I mean, change that science to trans. Transformer. There you go. I named science for it. Because hell, people can't seem to make up their mind what they want to do or what they want to be. Is that what I'm hearing? They can just make up anything now, right?
Yeah, that's a different discussion that I would have to. I don't have enough. I don't see that population on a grand scale. However, this is what I will tell you is, let's do our own research on it. Let's go meet somebody who act and not just read about it. I actually meet people with body disorder. And you don't choose to be hermaphrodite. That's how you're born. Okay? And we don't do enough of those. We don't know enough about those cases too, where the parents are deciding whether or not you want to keep them as a male or female because you know what I'm saying. So let's just talk.
But the vast majority of people that's trans this or that or whatever, most of them are not born hermaphrodites, so we could agree on that, right?
Right.
Okay. Let me go ahead and get to Wilson. Wilson, go ahead and we're gonna go to Wilson, Carlos, and Original. Wilson, how you doing tonight?
How are you?
Pretty good.
How you doing?
Good. Hey, twin, how you doing? Well, I wanted to say with regards to Mark Taylor and what Professor was saying, is so true. We have to be on guard all the time. We are genetically kind people, and we are always, your doors open, your heart's open, but we can't afford it anymore. They are not, and never will be. There'll never be a change of heart with white people because their revenue stream has been eliminated. I'm in that space with LaFarmer, reading that book, The Knights of the Golden Circle. I would ask everybody to really pay attention to that because it's good to, in history, you got to look at the past to understand the present. What they did, what they were planning on doing was so masterfully and meticulously planned out that I understand now why they assassinated John Wilkes Booth, assassinated Lincoln, because they really planned on dominating the world with slavery. And so what they're doing by upending our laws, by, making it that some states now you don't need a permit to carry guns, they are arming white people for the inevitable, which is going to be a future where they are going to come to our doors and just assassinate us. And I am not a schizophrenic person. I'm not a crazy person. I think like this because I feel like I need to be ready. And we all have to have our eyes on the back of our necks, the back of our head. We have to understand that they want to kill us and put us back on the plantation. They want to put us back on the plantation. And what they're doing is using other people of color to help that system dynamic. And then when they get to where they have to get to, those very people that have been performing for them, those other people are going to be on the plantation with us. Trust me when I tell you, there is nothing more that they are living for than to kill us. Mark Taylor, what he said, I listened to what he said. He wanted to get a red bone woman and fuck her and then kill her. That's what they want to do. That's what they want to do. They're a sick people. They lust after black women. They want to fuck black women and kill them at the same time. And that's what they do. They want to take the babies that we bear, and they want to fuck those babies and kill them at the same time. And what they're going to do is castrate our men and kill them at the same time. And it sounds disturbing, but that's who they are. They're disturbing. These are people, remember now, they always like to romanticize history. These people didn't come over to Plymouth Rock in their suited and booted. These were criminals. These were the dregs of the earth. These were the troglodytes. These were the cave creeps that Europe didn't want. And they came here. Remember now, they didn't come, once again, with their lies. They didn't come with some military prowess and wiped out the nation of Indians to capture land and romanticize this shit. These people came over here with diseases. They came over here with lice and fleas, and they wiped out a nation of people damn near with smallpox, and those that they couldn't, you know what they did? They purposely, and this is historical fact, took blankets and traded it to the Indians, knowing that they slept in it with their smallpox in it, and wiped the rest of them out. This is who we're dealing. Who we're dealing with today. That's their ancestors. So So you can only imagine if you close your eyes and keep still for 5 minutes that if we're catching hell now with these people, could you imagine what those people were catching hell with when there were no laws? Nothing. They had every moment of the day. They had to pray and hope to God that they can see the evening alive. And then working 18, 19 hours a day in the hot sun. You want to rest. And then you got this fucking wacko that wants to fuck you all night in front of your man and your children. This is what we're dealing with. Hold on a minute. This is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with these kind of people. So yes, you gotta fuck with them to make money, but then that's where it ends. As Professor said, be very careful. You go to these company parties. Let me tell you, I've seen enough of those. Go to the company parties, and that very conservative, quiet white person that act like they got a stick in their ass. They get 2 drinks in them, and the truth serum comes right out. They call you all kind of niggas. They want to feel up on you. They want to carry on and fuck each other. I always went to my company parties, and first of all, I'm not a drinker. But, Jack, you want it? No, I don't want no drink. Nope. And any drink that I had in my hand, I carried with me even to the damn toilet. Because I wasn't leaving no drink on the table and then come back and some sick fuck white person put some shit in my damn drink. And I know that's real because my mother was a 33-year veteran in psychiatric nursing. And she ran one of the largest mental institutions on the East Coast. And she used to take me as a little girl and say, see this person right here? Somebody put something in their drink. And they were in a rubber room, a real rubber room. These people are evil. And so you can never trust them. And you have to move, especially nowadays, you got to move like they want to kill you. And it is a trauma legacy. And it is, what's the word, the right word? Paranoia. But that paranoia is going to keep your ass alive. That paranoia is going to keep you alive. Because you got to know who you fucking with. And you better know who you driving around, who you going to the food supermarket around, who you going to the bank around, who you just walking on the street. They hate you. Every fucking thing we do is a problem. Like Newstoter said, if we have a black night at Disney World, it's a big fucking deal. If the gay night, then that's another thing. Look, that whole thing with Disney is nothing but a political move and a fuck you to DeSantis. Because it was already, today I was watching something on the news while I was doing some paperwork for work, was that one of the most influential Republican fundraiser, according to this news, exceptionally powerful woman, and I couldn't get her name, is siding with Trump. Because they know this thing with Disney is going to implode on DeSantis. When you go in like Disney corporate, there's nothing but gays that work in that goddamn place in corporate. They're the ones running these departments. It's gay. It really is. I'm telling you the truth. I know this as fact. A lot of gays in there in positions of influence within that Disney corporate office. And that is, it's a political move. It's a fuck you to DeSantis. And they're going to win. He is going to lose. And Trump may pull this off. And then, this thing, okay, the GOP, I don't know what we were talking about the GOP. That one I don't know. And hanging on black folks, I don't know what that meant. But, this whole thing with Mark Taylor and, what Professor said is so right. You got to move in paranoia around these people. You have to move in paranoia because they're out to get you, out to set you up, out to undermine you, and out to dismiss you. They're out to out-earn you. They're out to out-employ you. They don't give a fuck. And that's bottom line. So I land with that, I think.
All right.
Wilson, I said, now look, that was 100. Preach. That was 100. And what she said, family, keep the guns ready. If you don't have one, it's time to go get it.
Go get it. I got mine in California.
Yes.
I'm ready for prime time, and it was with a black gun owner, a gunshot. I got mine.
I went to the gun range today to learn.
I'm in a work profession where I deal with strangers all the time. I don't know who the fuck is coming through the door, and sometimes they will watch you.
That's
and
right.
move up on you. So I have one that I tuck in my breast because I'm quicker to pull it out that way. I don't give a fuck, and I've been very responsible. I have been going to practice, but I have to be ready because you just never know when shit's gotta pop off. My favorite breakfast place here in LA. This morning, I just found out a woman pushing a stroller, minding her business, was passing the restaurant where people sitting outside, and a person came up on her and tried to grab her bag. A construction worker, which I know there's a lot of construction people that go out there, because by the time I go there, like around 9 or 10, some of them construction people have already been at work and they just coming to grab something to eat with their other colleagues or whatever. I know what was going on there. He had a gun and shot him in his head to protect her and her baby.
I put one in my office, and that's very different for me. But I'm in private practice. I stay later these days, and you just never know.
You never know. And so I'm supposed to keep mine in my trunk, but I don't do that shit. Because by the time something pop off and I got to go pick up the trunk, I got it in my breast. So, if something comes down on me in the car, because some of these white people are crazy, or if I'm coming, whatever, and if they got to touch me first, and then I'm going to pop it off.
Make sure y'all get liability insurance.
I got that ready, because this place, they, Firestone, they are in Burbank, California, black owned for 20 plus years. They take care of it. So I never had to do that, but when George Floyd came about, all of that, I'm like, no, I got to get ready for prime time.
Alrighty.
And I never thought I would do that, but now more than ever, my shit's on me, and it's on my bed table at nighttime because I live by myself, and folks get brand new ideas. So I land with that.
All right. Thank you, Wilson. Let me go ahead and get to Carlos, and I'm going to get to original Carlos. How you doing tonight?
Hey, what's up, Newstoter and everybody in the room? I just wanted to touch on a few things that I heard so far. Actually, it's kind of like a shameless plug because I'm not sure who the brother was that was speaking, that was talking about the gay, and he spoke on the people, the white people and everything. I'm not sure who that was. I had just joined the room. But everything that he said pretty much echoes the sentiments that's in my book that's on Amazon. And these people are hell-bent on our destruction from day one, from our first encounter with them. And I had to do a lot of research, write in the book, and when he was talking about the sex with young boys being different, it's called pederasty. And that in ancient Rome, that was a part of their culture because they felt that sex with a boy was the highest form of love. Just like where adultery was for a woman was punishable by death. It was punishable by death if the husband chose to. But also a part of that punishment was he was to rape the male that she had an affair with. These are things and these are the people who have influenced our culture. Now, speaking on that Mark Taylor video, I did see that video, and I just have one question. Georgia football team has the number one or number 2 recruiting class this year. Why hasn't all those black committed, recruits decommitted from Georgia until he's gone? We have to start understanding the power dynamic and the power that we do have. It's strength in numbers, and that saying is true. If these people are not going to respect us until we start hurting their bottom line. Once we start hurting their bottom line and those pockets start getting a little bit empty, then they'll start respecting us. But it's not about their respect. It's having our own self-respect. It's about not letting these people run over us and us just, and expecting them to just do the right thing, because these people have no right thing in them. And, I'm just going to say this, where the person that was speaking in the beginning, he was saying that, these people aren't Christians. The Ku Klux Klan claims to be a Christian organization. All of this is in my book that's on Amazon, Black America Under Siege, and I'm going to land with that.
All right. Thank you, Carlos. Appreciate that. Yeah, when you're talking about Professor, so you must have got knocked down. So let me bring you back up here, because I don't know how you got knocked down or whatnot, Professor.
Yeah, I got knocked down, man. It just dropped me out of the space.
Yeah, you know how these spaces are. I'm gonna bring you back up here to co-host. Definitely appreciate that, Carlos. And I will say this one thing right here. Yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier in the space. Black people are gonna have to start using their powers and stuff like that. This guy, he has connection with some of the biggest universities. He's worked with the biggest coaches in college football, and until you start having actual black people use their power, use what they can use and stuff like that, use their ability to really hurt folks, you're going to continually get people to just pretty much screw over black folks as well too. So you got to go ahead and you got to start using your ability. And you got NFL players that had connection with this dude as well too, and they're pretty silent on this situation. So yeah, as long as you allow this stuff, you're going to constantly keep getting ran over. So it's up to black people to go ahead and voice and use the power of their voice to go ahead and try to make a change as well too. So let me go ahead real quick. We got some new speakers. So originally, I'm gonna get to you. I'm gonna go ahead and get to I want to get to Mr. Engaging, No Taxation, OD3, and then I'll come back to you.
Now you said that wrong. I want to bring this brother up. He's special to these spaces. That's old dirty Chinese bastard. Welcome to the space, everybody. Welcome to the space.
Okay. Let me go ahead and get the Mr. Engaging. What's going on tonight, Mr. Engaging?
Hey, good afternoon and good evening to all family. With that being said, I wanted to talk about this Mark Taylor thing a little bit more. I strongly employ black men specifically to get more involved in these sports.
Hey, real quick, Mr. Engaging, DJ Professor, I'm going to step away from 1 second, but go ahead, Mr. Engaging.
Stop having these guys coaching our children. Stop really engaging with our children on those intimate levels per se. Because I look at that's something that a father and son, men in the community should be doing. I look at a failure on a lot of these brothers that play football who are like has-beens, like where you at? Like you need to be out there holding it down and quit having this man teaching your kid, cussing him, probably calling the N-word underneath his breath when he mess up on a play. Like me personally, I'm against sports because we're not making no monies on it. Real talk, that's the first thing. Second of all, we don't have people that when we get hurt really take care of our professionals, Like it's just really gruesome on how they, in these sports arena, how they treat our people. It's like a meat grinder, if you get what I mean. It just grind up the Negro, you know? So, like, I'm totally against any aspect of sports until we get what's old. And if we learn about sports, it should be like riflery, you know? It should be like self-defense martial arts, you know? Stuff like that, you know? Because, like my brother said, Brother Carlos, we definitely under siege, yeah? No matter where we are on this God green earth, we're under siege. So I think that people are making light of this Mark Taylor thing, you know? And that's a disservice to our people, making light of it. We should be putting the pressure on the athletes, you know? Why? We should do like a forensic article on Brother Mark, or that guy Mark Taylor, if you get what I mean. Know who he's connected with, you know? You might see a couple of WSs pop up, you know? Because if they have that mentality, you know, you might as well just get the whole batch. Quit messing small, you know? Take the whole block. So that's how I look at that whole Mark Taylor thing. And I don't know. I looked up about the GOP hanging black folks. I don't know what he meant by that. It came a little late.
That's in the actual jumbotron. That happened. You had some GOP Republicans in the city of Oklahoma sitting up here, Republican officials, and that's the second on the right hand side. The FBI is investigating that you had officials in Oklahoma caught on the audio talking about lynching Black Americans.
Okay, now this is a good time. Okay, now I'm glad this is something that was never brought up in the space, but I think it should have been. Where's that anti-hate crime bill? And where's that anti-lynching bill? This is a good time to put it right on that guy's neck like an albatross and make him wear it outside the building. And make him the example. Make his ass the example. That's what I would say to that. And thank you for clarifying, because I was trying to read the room on the conversation. I didn't know what to say or take of it, brother. But thank you for giving me straight to the facts. I looked at some of the stuff. Yeah, that's what they need to do. We need to be putting that anti-lynching bill. Just calling off local legislators, you know, and just going ham on that. That's just my take on that part. And also, he need to be removed from his position, like immediately. He already showed racial prejudicial bias to the utmost, and he should be removed from his position. And I don't hear that type of conversation at all. So, like, and also, like, that's just my take on that. The Disneyland, the Pride Night thing, I don't really like that. I don't like that at all. And it's not because I'm homophobic or nothing like that, and I don't swing that way. I don't like the message of, like, this is a place where children are supposed to be children, you know what I mean? And kids are supposed to be kids. That's what I got the premise of, like, Disneyland, you know what I mean? Like, so, like, I just don't see how orientations, lifestyle choices, and all that confusing stuff have to deal with a child being a child enjoying, like, fantasies. Like, what type of fantasy are they trying to promote? Because it sounds like a sexual fantasy to children, and I'm not really rocking with that, you know what I mean? Like, that's some pedo, weirdo, and other stuff. So, like, I'm not really feeling that. So, that's just my take on those three items that you had on the table for the day.
All right, appreciate that, Mr. Engaging. Yeah, you know, with the titles of these Twitter spaces, you can only get so much stuff in the actual title, so you have to try to be creative as possible. We got 3 topics we're talking about, and unfortunately, I can't put the topics in the title, you know, in the title the way I want to. So you got to go ahead and try to cut things up and splice things up and add it in there at the same time. You know, go ahead and try to get the general premises of what you're trying to actually do. So yeah, I wish you could put more in the actual title of these Twitter spaces, but unfortunately you can't. Maybe down the road they'll change that, but I seriously doubt it with Elon Musk in charge that anything is going to really change productively for Twitter anytime soon. So that's just my take on it. But yeah, appreciate you, Mr. Engaging, especially appreciate you touching up on those issues as well too. So let me go ahead and get to no taxation, and I'm gonna get to OD3, and then we're gonna get to Original, Tammy, and Carlos as well too. So how you doing, no taxation?
Excuse me, Newstoter, can I just say something real quick?
Real quick, because we got some speakers that haven't spoke yet, Carlos. So I got to get to them.
Okay, I just wanted to say just one thing. That's all. And then I'm gonna drop down. People, check if you are a veteran. Please check your state's concealed carry laws, because like in Virginia, if you are a veteran, you do not have to take a class or anything to get your concealed carry. All you have to do is fill out the paperwork, pay your $50, and you get your concealed permit. So just check your your state's concealed weapons laws and rules, and I'm gonna drop down.
All right, appreciate you, Carlos, and that's some great advice that Carlos just shared with everybody as well too. So if you're any vets in here, go ahead and definitely take that advice up. If you're trying to get that concealed permit weapon as well too. So let me go ahead and get to no taxation. Gene, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. I hope you.
No taxation.
Hey, sis, how you doing? And original, I'm glad you showed up. You was in the spaces a couple of days ago and didn't say nothing. We kept trying to call you out. I hope everybody's doing good in the room, the Newstoter family. You know, we have to meet every day because it's a full court press on us every day. And so, you know, this is really where I do get my news because I don't have time to stop. And so I know that I'm going to get the truth over here and see what's out there, even if it's fake, you know. But he's going to give us what's really going on, news that affects us. And one thing I wanted to say is Welsing Fan Club told you all what the deal was. The one thing I disagreed with what she said, and Welsing, I want you to hear me. She said they are going to start killing you in your home. I'm saying they have started killing us in our homes. Everything that she told you all is what is happening right now. Think about both of John when that woman ran up in there and shot him, talking about she thought it was somebody had broken into her apartment. Say, that little boy, he couldn't wait to put a bullet in that child's head. I don't give a damn how old he was. He probably been killing black folks all his life. He just got caught that time. See, you all have to understand, here's what I want you to really get biologically. Now, this is biology. This is research. This is science. And Marcus lived above trauma, was in the spaces last night, and he broke it down. He talked about epigenetics. And I've been screaming for I don't know how long, ever since it came out. If black babies are being born with trauma, that's epigenetics. It's in their DNA now. So if you plan on having a child, know that your child is coming into the world with trauma. It's in their DNA. It stands to reason that the murderous ones, the evil ones, the demonic ones, have that in their DNA as well. That's why it's so hard to eradicate them. Because while ours are being born with trauma, theirs are being born to commit trauma. Understand me. Hear me. That's biology. That's science. Yeah, it makes perfect sense if you think about it. If you think about it, if we're being born, our babies are being born with trauma, well, then the people who commit the trauma, their babies are being born, it's in their DNA to commit trauma. And that's where we are in this world. That's really just where we are. And she's right. The dregs of English society and French society, those are the ones that came over here. Not the you didn't see the royalty coming over here. And not to say that they're better, but they do it differently. They can finesse it. But the ones that just flat out murder, carrying the tiki torches and that came up and told me, oh, you would not replace us. They tried to make it sound like they were saying the J word, but they were saying you. That meant everybody. And that was the signal to this country to say the war is on. And they chose Charlottesville, Virginia to do it. And y'all look it up and see what Charlottesville, Virginia is about. And they tried to come out and let you know that, and it's deeper than the Klan. It's deeper than the Klan. You're talking about John Birchers. They don't even like their own, if you want to know the truth about it. they kill for sport. That's just what they do. They want a total cleansing. And I'm going to tell you this, those white Hispanics, they think they got it going on. They're using them to do a job that they no longer want to do. So they can get them 84-year-old saltines to come out here and do stuff that they've been doing for sport for years. And the first time he ever shot somebody black. Let's just be real. Now, Mark Taylor, I'm going to tell you this. The way white supremacy is set up and capitalism is set up, they'll get them out the paint if somebody steps up. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors because it's my guess, and I'm not too sure, but it's my guess that there are some, former professional athletes that are in these colleges' ears to say that's what you're not going to do. And what's his name? Mr. Engaging. He said it correctly. Why there wasn't a walkout for those students, I don't know. It's not even about signing up. What are the ones that's already signed up saying? They should have walked out of that school. And that everybody black should have walked out of that school. And that would have ended it. But they didn't. And so now here we are. So my guess is they're gonna get him out the paint, not because they have a problem with what he said, but because they need those people to come in there and play ball, and it makes money, and so they'll get him out the paint just to keep their coins together. And there's an old saying that old black folks told me years ago and had been telling me for a long time: break Georgia and you break the South. That's the key. And the reason why is because they got Stone Mountain up there. Y'all remember Clinton went up there and had all those black male prisoners standing behind him on the top of Stone Mountain. And they had on stripes and he made a speech up there. That's how he got in office. Okay? We don't have any friends. We have no friends at all. And you do have to watch your front, back, and sides, because I'm here to tell you, when them Tiki Torch boys came down there to Charlottesville in the middle of the night, first of all, why are they bringing fire down the middle of the room? And it wasn't illegal? And you needed a permit? Y'all do the math. That was the signal. And it's been on ever since then. And I'm not saying it was not on before, but that was the signal for them. And a lot of black folks missed it. And go to show you how God's children sometimes don't move, and God has to go in and let the people know. The one that died was a white girl. Okay? The one that died was a white girl. So there you go. That tells you who it is. Now let's talk about Disneyland. I don't know if y'all have ever paid attention to Professor Griff when he did that years ago. It might be 10 years old. He did something on Disneyland and showed the people how Disneyland started and showed how they were drawing those characters back there and the hidden messages that they have in those characters that look like body parts of women and men. I'm not going to get graphic, but y'all understand what I'm saying. Go on YouTube. Professor Griff still probably got that video up there. That will tell you everything you know about Disneyland. And Wrestling Fan Club told you that is a pedophile's paradise. That's why it's up there. I have never taken my children to Disneyland, ever. And my mother didn't take us. We didn't do all that fairy tale stuff in my parents' household. We didn't grow up with Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and all that shit. We didn't do that because I grew up real black, real blackity black. So we didn't have Grimm's fairy tales and all that stuff, right? And I didn't teach my son that. And I didn't teach my son that Santa Claus was coming to give you no presents either. And we have to be very careful of what we're teaching our children. Be very careful of where we take our children.
all children want to go to Disneyland. Why is that? Why is it all the children in the world want to go to Disney? In the world want to go to Disneyland. In the whole world. And they got Disneylands all over the world. And it's a pedophile paradise. That's what it is. And they fool you with it. You end up giving them all your money and your children. Be very careful because they keep the cameras everywhere. Everything in Disneyland is recorded. The minute you come up to that place, you're already on the camera. Epcot, same way. You're already on camera. And so she's absolutely correct. They're using it as a political fodder. Disneyland is pulling the fast ones and letting DeSantis know we're going to get you out the paint because we have to continue having a pedophile paradise. That's just true tea. I mean, I wish it was different and didn't have to deliver the news either, but it is. I'm just glad that you all are awake because Black folks been asleep for a long, long time on this. And I keep telling y'all, every time I come into spaces, I tell you all are the generation to stop this madness. And if they want to do anything to us by any means necessary, then we need to think like them and say we want to live by any means necessary. That's what we have to do now. And if you don't want to live, fold up and die because it's headed your way and coming your way. If it ain't next door, it's down the street and around the corner. And I'm going to leave it at that.
All right. Thank you. No taxation. For everybody in this.
I just responded no taxation with one statement.
Real quick. Yeah, you got it, Wilson.
Okay, just real quickly, out of respect for everybody else waiting, I wanted to say I agree with you. But more importantly, that when a profound thing you said with regards to the Hispanics, I mean, the immigrants coming in here, no matter what, Black, Hispanic, white, are white supremacy's performance monkey. So they are always looking back in history because they repeat history, but in modern ways. The Hispanics, the white Hispanics, are modern slave patrols. They are arming them to kill us. They're letting them. I'm going to let them do the dirty work. And you are absolutely right. These people live in past history. If you ever notice, they have these conventions where they're walking around looking like Hitler and walking around reenacting Civil War. All that bullshit. It's all practice, folks. And I left with that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Real quick, y'all. Up in the Jumbotron, we got the Newstoter YouTube channel on the left-hand side, the second on the left-hand side. We got a bunch of people up in the space, and I know everybody's not subscribed to the YouTube channel. So please, while the actual space is going on, you can go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel right now, guys. You don't have to leave the Twitter space. You can go ahead and subscribe to it. We're trying to build it. We need you guys. We have not got one person to subscribe to the YouTube channel tonight while the actual space has been going on. The space has been going on since 8:05, and not one person to date has subscribed to the YouTube channel. You're up in the space, so I know that you actually like the actual programs, broadcasts, the show that goes on. So please go ahead. Over 100 and some odd videos on the YouTube channel. So in case you have not caught all the spaces, you can go ahead because we upload them simultaneously. We're doing a live feed right now. So please go ahead and subscribe to that YouTube channel. Asking you, please, we need to go ahead and get as many people to that YouTube channel as possible. So please go ahead and subscribe to that YouTube channel. Also support us on Cash App, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Newstoter is the largest Black-owned Black media news curation platform today in America. So once again, that is $Newstoter, $Newstoter. And if you do not have a Cash App, we have the Venmo and PayPal somewhere up here in this Jumbotron. There's a lot of stuff up here. So if you can sort through that and find it, it's somewhere up here. So let me go ahead. OD3, did you still want to speak? I see you got your hand. You came back up, but your hand's not up. Did you want to speak?
Yeah, I still want to speak. Hello?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. The brother said, like a few people before me, he said something about the players at Georgia. Why are they going in? I wanted to respond to that real quick. First of all, I feel like I'm 36, but everybody, I feel like any sacrifice you're not willing to make yourself, we shouldn't expect it of the younger generation. That goes for all of us up and down the line. because I hear that a lot. Like, y'all gonna be the generation, and y'all younger people. Oh, I'm just trying to speak to the youth, and I'm just like, what? Why do people with the experience passing the ball? Veterans win championships. But anyway, and besides that, I hear also a lot of people shooting around the world word white supremacy and white supremacists. And my whole thing with that is, I'm willing to bet most of the Negroes saying that do not live around white people. They probably live around Hispanics. They probably live around a bunch of coconuts. Excuse me, I ain't gonna offend nobody by that, but you know what I mean? Caribbeans and Africans and Asians and Indians. They don't even live around white people. White people do not like us, and they try to live as far away from us as possible. But we seem to be stuck in this white-black thing, which only comes from a bunch of Freemasons and Eastern Stars and so-called Jewish people from the so-called fake civil rights movement. And we throwing out these terms and saying these things when we don't really know what they mean. And that's why the whole thing about Disneyland and Wonderland is perfect, because we're running around living in a wonderland, like totally oblivious to what's really going on. We're living out all this fake propaganda that they've been giving us through the public school system through the years. And we think it's true. And we're saying things, we're calling people white, we're calling people black, when these are law terms, not civil rights terms. They don't identify anybody. And we're using them, and everybody's laughing at us. We're not getting nothing done, and we're having these frivolous discussions over and over and over, and it's not about to do anything. It's just like a bunch of moaning and groaning. And that's it. That's
Okay, real quick, brother. I just want to ask you. Let me give a shout out to the 3 people. We just got 3 people to subscribe to the YouTube channel, so shout out to you guys. Okay, back to the point you were saying that we shouldn't be willing to ask the younger generation to do what we're not willing to do. Well, the problem with that situation is that this guy is a football trainer, so he's working with football players. Now, I don't know if he has any. I know he's in Georgia, he's in Atlanta. I don't know if he has any direct tie to actual the University of Georgia, but I know he has his own company, Sports or Speed Edge Sports. This guy trains football players, so I'm assuming that he works with a lot of college athletes, because he's worked with high-profile coaches like Dabo Swinney, who was Clemson's head coach. Dabo's won a couple national championships. He works with Nick Saban, who's regarded as the greatest college football coach of all time, Alabama's coach. Saban's got 6-7 national championships. So this guy's working. I would assume that he's working with some of the Georgia players. Now, here's the thing. I know you're saying we shouldn't assume this or this or that, but
I'm saying,
well, hold on, brother. Hold on. Brother, hold on. Don't cut me off. I'm speaking. I didn't interrupt you. My thing is this right here. The people that he's making his money off of are actual football players. So he's actually making his livelihood off of black football players, because 65 to 70% of Division I athletes playing college football are black players. So this guy's whole livelihood comes off of black players. So it would only make sense that black players would step up and say, you know what, we got a problem with what you're saying, and we're going to cancel you. Now, he's had a picture with Jalen Hurts, who was just in the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts just signed a $250-some million contract with the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts is now the highest paid quarterback and player in football right now, until somebody else comes and knock him off of that perch. So Jalen Hurts has a picture. So it would make sense for Jalen Hurts, who has all the money in the world, to sit up here and say, you know what, I was offended by that. I am no longer having any association with this man right here. A person that's in their 40s or 50 years old, they're not playing football. So unless it was the ex-football players that's in the Hall of Fame, or broadcasters, or guys that used to play, come and say something. But the guys that's currently playing, nobody's stopping these young guys. A lot of these young guys, quote unquote, are supposed to be in the woke generation. So I would think that they would sit up here and actually say, you know what, we have an issue with what was said. I find it offensive. You're sitting up here talking about hanging black women. You're sitting up here talking about coming to this city and hunting black people. You point to a tree telling a black woman she's going to hang and this and that. So I would assume that these people, these guys that have tens of thousands of followers, some of them have millions of followers on social media, could get out and simply put a post out and say, you know what, I was offended by what Mark Taylor said. It was disrespectful to black folks. It was racist as hell. So we need to go ahead, and we're cutting all ties with him. I would expect some of the universities also that work with him to say the same thing, because a big part of their budget is coming in from that football factory that these guys have. They have these multi-million-dollar complexes, these stadiums, these indoor football practice facilities, these locker rooms and stuff like that. All of these things that's been made possible because of the actual ability of black football players to go out there and generate massive amounts of money. I believe each team in the SEC is making $40-some million off of the football contract that they splitting up against each other. So each school's getting $45-50 million per team off the contract. I don't care if you're Alabama or you're the damn Vanderbilt Commodores who ain't worth the 2 cents in football. So everybody's getting papered up. So I would assume that these guys would go ahead and say something. Brother, please don't come off the mic because I'm cooking right now. Also, I get what you're saying about the white supremacy and this and that or whatever. Well, based on the way the things are set up, white people run this country. They not only run this country, they run the city you live in, they run the state you live in, they run the entire continent that you live in, they run the entire world. Every industry in this country damn near is controlled by white folks. So white supremacy is not a cop-out. White supremacy is truly what it is. I don't give a damn if you live in a neighborhood completely black-owned. I guarantee you the stores and everything else in your community are not black-owned. Most of black people don't even build the houses that they live in. So yeah, white folks, they're actually responsible for the criminal justice system. They're responsible for the political system. They're responsible for the healthcare system. They're responsible for the roads that we drive on. They're responsible for the manufacturing. They're responsible for the agriculture field. They're responsible for any and everything up in this actual country. So I don't understand, like you saying that we live next to a bunch of Africans or coconuts or whatever. Yeah, that's fine and good. Brother, why do you keep interrupting me? Yo, brother, don't interrupt me again, okay? Because I did not come off the microphone. I'm not going to tell you again. Don't come off the mic. Nigga, I'll talk as long as I want to talk. Are you crazy? I'll talk as long as I want to talk up in here. I don't know what this.
This nigga's retarded. You gotta calm down in space now. Calm down in here.
I don't know what.
Don't come up in here and dominate this space, old dirty Chinese bastard.
You gonna come up in here and we letting you talk, and you gonna come up here and you're gonna interrupt me 3 times and telling me I'm talking. Well, first off, I'm the host, so I talk as long as I want to talk. Okay, I don't know. Maybe in China land or wherever you from, how y'all do it, but over here in America, the host pretty much runs the show right here, bro. And what you were saying, you babbled the whole time, my nigga. If you want to be real, you sitting up here babbling, talking about white supremacy ain't real and this ain't real, and don't ask the players who generate billions of dollars not to say anything because your old niggas ain't saying nothing. So I don't know what the hell you talking about. But come up off the mic and let me.
This nigga tried to go in on me and Black Pressure the other night.
Hey, news. This nigga's a more Christian, Egyptian, and Israelite. He's all that.
Okay, so
you be swaying me, nigga. You know me well, huh? One of my friends donate. Get my cash app.
Nigga, ain't nobody finna give you no cash out, man. Please, that lame stuff you saying. I mean, really. Man, shut your stupid, dumb, damn wanna be this religion, that religion ass. Nobody told you to come up in here anyway. So take your ass. Matter of fact, go pray to your God and ask him to do something for your people. Because apparently you too stupid to do it yourself. What you talking about? Sitting up here babbling. Man, get up out of here. Like,
yeah, rude chain. Oh, that's what you call yourself anyway. Old dirty Chinese bastard, everybody.
Let me drop this boy down from speaker here because he's too stupid to even hold a conversation tonight. So let me go ahead and drop him and get him out of here. He's sitting up here talking all this nonsense or whatever.
That be fucking white women. See, that's the kind of motherfucker, and they want to turn around and curse black women all kind of names. So fuck him and fuck him whoever he is. And twice over and 10 times on Sunday. And I'm gonna tell you something. Them kind of Negroes, they always get their nigger wake-up call. Always. Because they align themselves with white supremacy. So let the enemy handle it.
Sitting up here with that pseudo nonsense that he's up here spewing or whatever. Somebody trying to tell him actual facts about the actual power that these black athletes actually have. Oh, I don't want to hear that, but please. Let's go ahead and get it. And let me give a shout out to you, Black Pressure, for your contribution on Cash App. Let's go ahead and get to Tammy. Tammy, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Man, you
Newstoter, I ain't came off my mic once. I'm doing good.
Yeah, you're doing good tonight. I give you that.
See, I've been listening. Lord, I done forgot what I was gonna say. But one of the reasons why, who is it? One of the reasons why the older people, it's not our place. Y'all, number one, this is a Colin Kaepernick issue as well. When he kneeled, all them other black football players around the country should have kneeled, and the white ones too. Okay? Because we keep talking about what black people supposed to do. Hell no, our problem is silence from white people. We ain't never got anything accomplished without white people who could claim to be so morally, intact with, everything. Their silence. Mark Taylor should not have a team right now. Mark Taylor should not have any contracts right now. I mean, look at what's the two sports players that said one thing. One of them got fined $500,000. The other one got put up. I mean, we gotta stop this. We shouldn't be watching sports. I didn't disagree with anything Mr. Engagin said tonight. Surprisingly, thank you, Mr. Engagin. But he had a point. I don't believe in sports because I ain't watched football since then. We have got to see our value, and that is our number one problem. We hold the value in all of these billions of dollars that's running around this country. We hold it. It's still being built off our back. Sport ain't nothing but cotton picking. That's all it is, and we doing the same thing. We got to hold these white people, these allies, accountable. We got to, and somebody said something about, Congress. Congress ain't going to save us. We out here on our own. We got to start making these people who sign these contracts accountable to moral respect to black people. We could have ended all of that ownership of football teams that day. Had everybody kneel down with him. And I believe that so wholeheartedly. We are not coming together like we need to. And it's not about just black people. It's not about old or young. It's about all of these people who say they are against lynching. I hope Original didn't say this, but somebody said lynching, it should be an anti-lynching law. It should have been 40 years ago. We're not holding them accountable. I don't want to agree with nothing Original said tonight, but that's what I have to say. Hey, Original.
All right, my bad, because Original, I passed over you because you was actually supposed to go before Tammy, so my bad. Original, go ahead and come off your mic. We're going Original. Buffy, I don't know if you still want to speak, but put your hand up. You'll be next. And then we got Mr. Engaging. So go ahead, Original. My bad.
Yeah, just keep me like I ain't nothing. But yeah, what I want to say is this, though. See, I want to say this is disruptive. See, here is the issue where you talked about, when you talked about the homosexuality issue. Now, I'm sure you know what, epigenetic transfer is. Okay? Now, there was a study that was completed some time ago, maybe like a couple of years or so ago. And what they said was that white people of the Jewish belief that some of their offspring was still suffering from the traumas of what they went through in Nazi Germany. Now, if they are suffering from that, then what do you think we are going through? And and let's be real, the white people of the small hats, they was involved in the slave trade too. So what do you think that we are going through? Because see, here's the issue. Dr. Marimbi Ani, who wrote the book Urugu, Dr. Asa Hilliard, he taught at Georgia State University, Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, Brother Mwalimu Barudi, and a host of other African-centered scholars. They said that of all the studying that they had done on ancient ancient African history now, before the Arabs and the Europeans invaded, they said they didn't find anything similar to homosexuality.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second, Original. Somebody, Buffy, I don't know if you have your mic muted, but somebody mic is not muted. Okay, go ahead, Original.
So they said they didn't find anything similar to homosexuality. So now let's just say, and I'm gonna say it like this: if that is true, then homosexuality did not come from us; it was put in us. So it was transmitted on down through the centuries. See, like someone said earlier about the Greeks and the Romans with the little boys. You see, it's just like that story. What is the Iliad and the Odyssey? When Odysseus went on his travels, he left his son. He left his son Telemachus with a mentor. Now, mentor was supposed to teach Odysseus' son Telemachus, and in exchange for the teaching of Telemachus, mentor. This is why some people don't use that word mentor today. They don't use. There are some black men they don't use that word mentor. Mentor had the right to have sex with Telemachus when he wanted to because he was giving him an education. So I think we have to look at this whole thing differently, because when I came under attack by a Muslim, and I didn't put all of it out there, but I got to find this book too. I had found this book. It was called it's called The Origin and Role of Same-Sex Relation in Human Society. And if I remember correctly, when they got to Africa about what they call homosexuality, it was with animals, not humans. And so we got to look at now I understand that, this thing had to be looked at from a historical standpoint. We just can't sit up and say, well, there is a reason why. And we have to find that reason out. And I'm looking at what our African scholars have left us. And they left us with the information that we need. We already know these people sick, whether they be Arab, Asian, or whatever. They are sick. And so we have to understand that. And you were right when you talked about how the players wouldn't stand with Colin Kaepernick. And just like these college players, they're not going to say anything because they quite a number of them are dumb as shit, and they're only in school because they can play football. That's it. So they're not going to say anything because what? They don't want to get their check cut off. So we have to look at that. And let me see what it was. Something that you said. See, this just like that. What they call it? That book, The $40 Million Slave. So some of those people are, and what their parents are, just thinking about how they can get some money, how they can, they can live this so-called luxury life. Well, hell, if you look at education, that's going to give you your luxury life. They're not looking at it. They're not looking at it from their standpoint. And as far as these people, these elected officials and things speaking up, they're not going to do that. See, when Maynard Jackson rebuilt the airport here in Atlanta, he said tumbleweeds would roll up 85 before he allowed the airport to be built without, some black contractors. See, they have been going on with this status quo whereby the majority black people are like 30-some-odd% of the population here in Georgia. Now,
how many contractors are black?
Pardon me?
How many of the contractors are black?
I forget what the percentage was that he had, but see, here's the issue: black people are like over 30% of the demographic here in Georgia, but yet you will see that they will consider stuff for the small hats, and they are only 1.2% of the demographic here in Georgia. They can't even vote themselves into office. So that's how jacked up it is. And these high-profile people and elected officials come out here as if and smiling in our faces, thinking that we're gonna follow them and go vote for these damn fools. No, we're not doing that. So And as far as the anti-black, as far as the anti-black hate crime bill is concerned, that is not going to happen because the same stupid people that are in office, the stupid black folks, because they're not going to say anything. And I think we have to look at that, and especially some of these people. Now, you know, these black folks, they put on these so-called cable news channels. These people just want to be damn seen. They won't go up there and talk like a Khalid Muhammad and be real with it and let them know that I can go toe-to-toe with you too. So that's what has to be done. But like I said, I'm not trying to knock anybody. All I'm saying is that something happened to us. And we have to study and see what happened. Now, if that means that we have to say some things that people don't want to hear, I'm not sorry for that, because the truth has to come out. Like I said, if small hats are suffering from trauma that happened in Nazi Germany, then we have a great deal of trauma that we are suffering. Because in that book, what was that book? The Delectable Negro. Now, here's the issue. Frederick Douglass was raped on these plantations. But you know what? The white scholars have said that Frederick Douglass didn't know what he was talking about. See, this is how sick these people is. And we should try to affiliate with them as less as possible. How are you going to see? It doesn't matter. They will cover for one another. See, when Frederick Douglass said he was raped, but now a white scholar who wasn't there, by the way, gonna say, "Oh, he don't know what he was talking about." That's Jack beyond jacked up. And see, because people have been pushing this issue on a sympathy perspective to want us to say that, well, these people don't bother nobody. But then when you see some of these, there was some two white guys at Duke and some of these other, and it happened at another university. They had adopted, it was two guys, that's a couple, had adopted some children, and they was pimping these children out to other people. So when people want to say that, these people are not sick, these people was born this way, but how did it happen? What was the origin of this? And we really have to look at this, because I think some of us are being too sympathetic, and some of these, and let's not forget, other than Frederick Douglass, a lot of black men and boys were raped on these plantations. Okay? Another epigenetic transfer. So we really got to look at that. But like I said, I'm not trying to knock anybody. But what I will say is that I'm going to stand and protect my people, because that's all I have to count on is my people. These other folks, I'm not concerned with you, because I know you're not concerned with me. So that's all. I'm not trying to be rude, disrespectful, or anything like that. But this has to be looked at differently than what it has been. Oh, and no taxation, I want to say, it's not that I didn't want to come up. I fell asleep on Newstoter space, and then when I woke up, I saw y'all was still going. I was still laying on the bed like, oh my goodness, if I click on, I might fall asleep on them too. So that's why I just laid there and I listened. But I just want to say this, that we have to be open-minded. We got to look at this thing objectively, and we got to look at the harm that has been done to us by these sick white people. I don't care if they Arab, Asian, European, or what, Spanish-speaking or what. These people are sick, and they hate us to our very essence. And so, like I said, I'm not trying to knock anybody, but I got to put us first. I'm not putting anyone. I'm not putting anyone before us. So we have to look at that for what it is, and just move from there. And I will land with that. But see, just understand that when I give that expression about This American Life and what happened with that lady's grandfather after her grandmother passed, that's factual documentation. Now, you may not want to accept that, but that's real. And see, sometimes these evil people put the truth out there. So we just have to look at it and see how we can use that and make it work for us. So
most of the time, though, you know what, original, it's lies. Most of the time.
All right, Tammy. Hold on. Let me let Original go ahead and land because we got some hands up.
Yeah, let me get ready. No, but see, that's the issue right there. And yes, the church has been a beacon of child rape. And see, again, even when it came out about the Catholic priest, the Catholic parishioner was so indoctrinated. Well, they was trying to protect the raping Catholic priests. I mean, preachers. I'm gonna call them preachers. A pimp is a pimp. I don't care what they are. They still.
Everybody always talk about the priests. The nuns were there involved in that too. They used to feed these children to the priests' sexual appetites. Please remember, it's the nuns too.
Yeah. Oh, and let me share this with you, and I'm gonna land. I used to Dr. Onion Palmer, who built the Marcus Garvey School in Los Angeles. I used to go and sit and study with him. He had a group that he had going on there. Do you all know that these Catholic degenerates, and this is why when he would have something, he would never have door prizes. He said, what he told us, he said that the way door prizes came about was that when these Catholic freaks would have like these orgies, whoever could come in and do the most wildest or most unseen, unique sex act, they would get the door prize. And I'll land with that.
Okay. Thank you, Original. Real quick, everybody. I don't want to steer it into that conversation because I know it's kind of we kind of going from we went from the even though we got the Mark Taylor, the GOP hanging black folks, and the Disneyland Pride Night. I don't want to really steer into the conversation where it's all about child rape and sexual assaults and that kind of stuff like that as well too. Like when I put that in the title, I didn't know it was really going to go that way. So I'm just letting everybody know we're going to pull it back from that direction some. We talking about the Disneyland Pride Night. Let's keep it on that, but we're not going to go all the way that way either. So I'm just letting everybody know we got a few new speakers up here as well too. So let me go ahead and get to Buffy. You were next. Did you want to say something real quick?
Sure, real quick, Newstoter. I also believe that none of these videos that went viral was by accident. It's given the same energy as the designers who make the racist designs, and then they say, "Oops, oh my God, my bag." The apology be written right along with the racist campaign. Okay, I don't think that the Oklahoma tape that was just released was released on accident. I mean, those people know nothing's going to happen to them. Somebody has to make the sacrifice. It's fear mongering. They're working on psychological warfare. Okay, they are promoting fear. They are trying to pull the clock back. They're working on us at every angle. It is no accident that they released those pictures of Jalen Walker riddled with bullets in the middle of the street just recently. At the same time, this motherfucker's like, well, I can barbecue and I know two hoes and talking about killing us. And it's fear mongering, okay? Along with the new generation, you say, well, why the young kids? Because the young kids are built different. Gen X, millennials, they are with the shits, okay? They are on the front lines out there, okay? Black and white, and they don't like it. They don't like it. So they're going to work on us psychologically. If they can put enough fear in us, then we won't go march. We won't go to city council meetings. We won't write letters. We won't get in these spaces and get together and come up with plans. They don't want it. That's why they're trying to ban TikTok, because a lot of people are on there spreading information that they want buried forever. They want the information buried forever. They say, well, you're indoctrinating my kids. No, we're not indoctrinating your kids. Your kids just refuse to follow your racist ass views, okay? All I'm saying is we need to normalize the revolutionary talk of no taxation. And Ms. Wilson, we have to normalize that. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. I'm serious. A lot of people try to shun away from Black people who who speak that revolutionary talk. You know, I'm a professional, okay? I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, but I'm still with the shits. And I keep my head on a swivel at all times. Leaving the grocery store, going to church. They come after us everywhere. So I'm just saying they're trying to promote fear. Show no fear. In the words of Nina Simone, no fear. And I'll end there.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna get to Mr. Engage, and then I'm gonna get to our new speakers. We're gonna after Mr. Engage, we got Black Pressure. See
Transformer in the Sky was next though. After Mr. Engage. I think it's that Transformer is Beautiful or something like that.
I think it's Black Pressure, and then the trans, then trans is Beautiful, I guess, and then you got Judge Sarah. But anyway, go ahead, Mr. Engaging.
Thank you, gentlemen, for allowing me to speak. I definitely want to revisit back on the Mark Taylor thing. I wanted to clarify what I said. I said that this is a good time for us to revisit as a collective the hate crime bill and the anti-lynching bill. Both of the people, Mark Taylor and the GOP, were talking about lynching people and doing terroristic crimes to our people. And I really think that it's worth going back to our politicians and using that as a leverage tool to even get rid of them if they're not going to sign on that. That's what I meant from a political standpoint. And I wanted to re-clarify that for the room. And I was the one who did mention the anti-lynching bill and the hate crime bill and all that such, but in that fashion. Also, the Mark Taylor thing, the reason why it's a really major issue with our athletes and stuff is that he has the access to our children. Also, people have to keep in mind when it comes to the NBA, the NFL and stuff, they do a psychological screening on our people. So that means they're looking to see if these individuals are docile or whatever things on certain things that might be racial in nature. So, with that being said, if this man was saying these type of racial things and saying that to our children, this is a terrorist, all right? And that's the level of how it should be met. But I don't see it. I see people, not you guys, but society as our black society dancing around the issue when it's the most precious thing at risk right now, the most precious thing at risk right now, which is our children. With that being said, I wanted to really harp more onto the political aspect of it, saying that, they should have kneeled with Colin Kaepernick. And more, shame on those athletes now, every last one of them, for not supporting Colin Kaepernick. Shame on them for allowing this guy to ride off in the sunset, building his legacy off the backs of our black people, off a goddamn game called football. See, this is what happens when you're chasing the ball instead of worrying about running the business and running the game. Shame on those NFL players for not stepping up, not cooperating, working together to buy a stadium, to get positions, to educate and work with our young men. There's some that might have stepped up, but it's not enough. And more, I think it's more as by design, because they're picking and choosing those individuals who are not going to speak up, and they're elevating those guys' family. So again, these athletes are not your role models.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Engage. And let me go ahead and get the Black Pressure. Black Pressure, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, what's up, News? Hey.
What up?
I'm going to do this. I'm running an extended olive branch. So, being the Sith Lord that I am, I want Trans is Beautiful to go before me, because I'm just a nice guy. So, go Trans is Beautiful. I'm going to grab my lightsaber, but let Trans is Beautiful go before me.
All right.
That nigga know he ain't trying to be nice.
We'll go ahead and Trans is Beautiful. Go ahead, and then we'll get back to you, Black Pressure. So Trans is Beautiful. How you doing tonight? Are you there? Trans is Beautiful. Okay, we'll try again. Trans is Beautiful. Are you there? We may, I don't know. Trans is Beautiful may not be down, might not be there. Maybe we may have to drop Trans is Beautiful down and see if they can come back up. Trans is Beautiful, going once, going twice, going 3 times. Are you there, Trans is Beautiful? So I don't believe Trans is Beautiful is there. I will go ahead and remove him from the speaker. I shouldn't say him.
In disguise.
Yeah,
Black Pressure, you knocked him out, Black Pressure. Knock him out the box. Knock him out the box.
Hey man, you got to give in to the dark side sometimes.
All right, Pressure, go ahead and I'll let you go ahead and unmute your mic.
Okay. How y'all doing, Black family? Back again. News, Ray, DJ. So, hey, so check this out. I'm going to start. Apologize to everybody. I am totally lost. Got off work late, went to the gym, so I'm just jumping in, right? So I'm going to keep it very short. You know, I don't hold the mic long. I heard homosexuality come up. Like I said, I'm totally lost. Don't know everything y'all said, but I will give you just a quick tidbit in history. I think it was original that brought up how homosexuality was ingrained in the Europeans. So just real quick, if you go back to ancient Rome, right? Rome was in power for like dummies in math, like being out-rounded to an even of like 1,000 years. I think I'm pretty close on that. Rome was in power for 1,000 years. Rome had about 70 to 75 emperors in that total time that it was in power, right? So I bullshit you not. Like I always say, for those who care, you can just easily look this up. I think there was one emperor named Claudius. I think he was like right when the millennia turned, right? The consensus attitude about this was one emperor named Claudius. You know that the Roman society and all the political leaders thought something was wrong. That, like the original said, this is how ingrained this shit is in these people's DNA. They thought something was wrong with Claudius because he was the only Roman emperor that liked only women. And I'll land my plane there.
Did not know that, but appreciate that. Black Pressure did not know that. Judge Sarah was up here and looks like she disconnected, so I don't know if she'll be right back. We can check and see if she'll be right back. If not, we will definitely move on. But she was up here just a second ago, so she disconnected. So not entirely sure what happened there. Trans was up here, and Trans went ahead and booked as well too. So go ahead, Mr. Engaging.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch upon some other things too. From more or less from the psychological, I look at Mark Taylor as doing a thing, a variation of buck breaking. And what I mean is that he's saying these racial things. If he's saying that in the privates, we know he's saying this to our children. And I'm just more or less looking at the psychological ramifications that are coming from this. And why hasn't these children have gotten seeking treatment? Why hasn't child protection agencies has not been filing reports on this guy? Why haven't they opened up an investigation? I'm more or less looking at it from like different institutions and just more and more and more like.
Now I'll say this, Mr. Engagement, on the Mark Taylor thing. I'm assuming that Mark Taylor is working more with collegiate athletes, to my understanding. Now he may be in the area. He may also be working with high school athletes as well.
I think he's working with high schoolers, and they're still minors.
Okay, yeah, because like I said, because I know he has some connection as well with like the high profile college coaches as well too. So I assume that, and maybe he's working with the high schoolers as they're getting ready to go to college. But I thought pretty much, and because I saw a picture of him and Jalen Hurts as well too. So like I say, I'm just assuming that he was working mainly with college. But you could be right. He's probably working with these high school kids as they're transitioning to college.
Yeah, he has that business that's going on where he's working with these individuals. And I guarantee you, if there's a high school that's really like a LeBron built, that's like really, really great at what they do, he's going to put emphasis and time on that individual, to develop them into that branch, So that's where I was more or less getting at. Like, this is a very, very dangerous thing. And I really think that we need to run an investigation on that guy. Find out what other people who he was associated with in that football space. What information and stuff, like there needs to be a forensic audit or forensic, like, rip through his phone. What was his texting like? Who was he talking to? What was it? Down to every last keystroke. Like this is very serious because, like, I don't think people may not understand, but I really think that there's a much more of a machine at work. Where, like, brother, you said that they won multiple championships. So what type of things that were relayed about our young black men that he's passing around to other people? Like, it's a much more. I'm very appalled by it. And this is the reason. And then this is the reason why I don't want my nephew or any young black boys really doing these type of sports. They need to be focused on self-defense. They need to be focused on riflery or getting that 2A game up. Screw a sport right about now.
Well, Mr. Engaging, I'll say this right here. You know, if you can use a sport as a tool to go ahead and further your education, and where you don't have to worry about paying no student loan back, and you can go to school and you're pretty good or whatever. You know, I don't have an issue with that. You know, I played a little bit of high school sports myself. But if you can use that as a way, you know, we see so many times with our people, especially black women, the actual student loan debt that a lot of them incur or whatever. So if you can actually use that as a way to actually further your career and you don't have to pay out of pocket anything or whatever, get the knowledge, go ahead, use it to the best of your ability or whatever. But at the same time, you're right. The reason this cat was making all these videos because first off, he felt immune to anything. He felt like, hey, I can go ahead. This shows you the kind of balls he had on him. He's going to post these BS videos and feel like nothing is going to happen to him. Secondly, in his profession, like you pretty much pointed out, there's a whole bunch of other ones that feel exactly like he feels as well too. So he felt like he was in good company because behind closed doors, he knows that a lot of them had the same conversation like that about black men as well too. He's using black men and he's using their ability to go ahead and increase his wealth and increase his pocketbook or whatever. So yeah, I would just, like I said, I would say this right here. If you have the actual ability, you know, and you want to play sports, you know, that's cool or whatever. If you're going to use it and you're going to further yourself and use it as a tool, because so many people use it as a tool. I mean, these colleges, they'll pay only to try to use these black athletes anyway. So if you can use them and get you a 4-year degree, you know, or whatever, even if I think a lot of times you can further your degree as well, go ahead and use it. You don't have to pay anything out of pocket. You don't have to worry about no student debt loan or whatever. You can go ahead, get you a bachelor's degree and move on. I say go ahead and do it. You know, if that's something you're trying to actually do, but at the same time, you're right. There's so many other different things, and some of our athletes too. The same thing you said. They even though they play sports, they still do. They got their gun permits. They got they take up martial arts and everything else as well too. So I mean, I say go ahead, use it as a tool, try to further yourself, but you know, at the same time, it's not the only thing. So.
Newstoter, can I say something? This is definitely in my neck of the woods. My son is a D1 athlete, okay? I was a single mother. He was a 4.0 student, okay? Let me tell you something. That is a very brutal business, okay? And I wasn't going to tell my son, well, don't use your talent because, no, he was very gifted. He played football since the age of 8 years old. And I also noticed that a lot of people that have so many opinions about football probably never played a down a ball in their fucking life. Okay, you probably never even played football. You understand? It's not for the weak. Okay, my son is 6'6", 260 pounds. And if God blessed him with that talent to go out there and be a powerful DN or and a powerful linebacker, then so be it. Did I raise him to be pro-black? Yes, he's very much pro-black. But you can't put everybody under one umbrella. Okay, he also has his degree. Okay, he didn't just say, well, the hell with my degree, I'm going to play football. You know, you're more likely to get struck by lightning than to make it to the NFL. You understand that? So it's not easy. So I'm very proud to say that my son made it to the NFL. You understand? It's a very brutal business, and it doesn't mean that you're not pro-black. It doesn't mean that you don't speak up for your people, and you just have to be very careful to put everybody under one umbrella. That's all I'm saying. And I'll just stop there. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Buffy. And I could tell you a football mom because you sitting up here talking about defensive end and linebacker, whatever. You know the position. So, like,
Yes,
you can
sir.
tell.
Yes, I do.
You can tell you know about the game up there. Hey, if the son's 6'6", 260 pounds, he would be a pretty good sized defensive end, especially in college as well, too. So yeah, you defensive end, outside linebacker, that 3-4. So you going ahead and you put it in there. So definitely shout out to you and the son as well, too. So
Right, shout out to you, Miss Buffy.
yes,
That's a
ma'am.
good job.
We have our flag football game. I want Buffy on my team.
Okay, I know a little bit about the game. Like, I'm still learning, but I know a little bit about it.
Okay.
You would think I would know everything, but I don't.
Hey, Newstoter, like we lost to Judge again. She was up here and
she was up here, but I'm sure she'll.
That's God working, Professor. Leave it alone. Leave it alone.
I'm sure she'll come back. Let me go ahead real quick. I see we got a new speaker up here, Sister Sean. Sister Sean, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Oh, I see that old dirty Chinese bastard still up in space. Oh, well.
Okay, so I'm coming in kind of late, but I think right on time. We talking about sports here in the sports league. Here's what I'd like to see. Let's get back to Negro League. Okay, the NFL, the NBA, all that. What people don't understand that these people get those organizations, right? They're orgs. It's NFL.org, NBA.org. They get major tax breaks and monies. They're basically big welfare leagues, right? So they get all of this free money to operate and then pay our, athletes, pennies in direct correlation of what they're getting. See, the secret is what I'm just telling you. You guys don't know, our people, that they get major tax breaks because they are organizations, just like everybody else, any other org. So that's how they're able to pay penance, but they get major dollars, and we got to understand that. So we've got to shut that down, especially now that we're in the reparations conversation. I say forget all of it. Bring back the Negro League. There would be no NFL. There would be no NBA if it wasn't for freedmen or foundational Black Americans. Trust and believe. We fuel that industry. And because we have not gatekept that industry, it's about to be lost. Because now they're going over to Nigeria and Africa. They're going to all these other places looking for athletes to replicate our vigor and to replicate everything that we've done. And I'm saying this in honor of somebody that you guys don't know. I'm going to put the name out here. His name is Dr. Donald Evans. He was trying to do this years ago. And he was trying to get all of it's not pro is NFL and all that, but below that, there's semi-pro, all the coaches to get together to create our own leagues. We've got to create our own leagues. Let's put this on our mind, along with reparations. Forget about everything that these people have put on us. Everybody are putting it to the space. Start getting your creative mind and get it together. I'll help you. I got people who know people. We've got to get our own leagues. And this is why I don't have no respect for the entertainment community, because they don't have no conscience. They out here in Hollywood, a freaky deek and doing all this bullshit with all this money. I don't have no respect for them because they sit up there kowtowing to Hollywood when they don't really understand their power. If they all walk away and say, fuck them, and we're going to get our own NFL, we're going to get our Negro League back. Trust me, black folks love to party and go to games and stuff. They'll make money, and the white folks will follow, because white folks don't got no culture. They follow us. Got to understand where our power is. We got to remove ourselves from all this shit. I'm not going to no damn, I'm not watching no damn Oscar. I ain't going to no damn, what the hell you call this, the Super Bowl and all this bullshit. Do you know I love track and field? Track and field is so exciting. Man, our kids, if you go to these high school games like I go to, with all this COVID shit, you couldn't do nothing. But man, you go to these track and field games, and it's like family, man. We gotta fuck them. We gotta get all this stuff, get our own track and league, NFL and NBA, and even tennis and baseball. We gotta bring baseball back. We used to, the Negro League, that's it. We used to dominate baseball. And we took our young boys away from baseball just like they took us from trades and everything in the schools. We used to do welding, bricklaying. We hung rock, meaning the walls. We painted. They took everything. And now, look at what happened. Our kids don't have no trades. Now you got these immigrants, Mexicans, everybody else, coming in getting the jobs because what they did this shit on purpose, y'all. They trained our children for fucking failure and said that sold us a pipe dream. So it then told us to spend all this money getting a degree, and you go and try to get a job, and they discriminate against you because you want. Now they hiring a goddamn Indian.
Amen.
Or they're hiring somebody from China. We got trick bag, y'all. Let's take it back. We got to get back in our trades. We got to get back in our agriculture. And we got to get back in our athletics. We got to get back in our entertainment. And we got to get back in our culture. People are making billions of dollars off our culture. And we got to stay strong. Newstoter's on it. He knows it. Anybody listen to me? We got to stay strong in these politics, too. That's what we got to do in-house. But we got to fight. We got a bigger fight with these politics. These DeSantis, Biden, all this bullshit. These Asians coming against us. We got some, man, I came back on Twitter. We got this damn Mexican out here talking about he built America, Jose, somebody, I don't know who the fuck he is. MSNBC sitting up there giving this man talk about some bullshit. They the oldest ethnic group in America, and they built America. Jose Lozano.
That was Fox News, sister.
I don't give a fuck, but all I know, I told MSNBC to retract that shit. Don't let them get away with it. Retract it. It's a lie.
No, that was MSNBC.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was MSNBC.
And
he lied either way.
Yeah. But yeah, we got to tell MSNBC. We're not going to tell, you're not going to sit up here. See, what they're doing is they're trying to skate on this CRT. They're already trying to erase our history with CRT. You going to bring some damn Mexican. He ain't even goddamn historian. Who the fuck are you? You a goddamn actor. He's not even a damn historian. He's not even a scholar. And you going to tell me that you're going to put this out there on your major platform like this is somebody that is of importance? Who did he study? Where's his master's degree? Where's your historian? You are actor. You are literally a Hollywood actor. Telling me that you fucking built America. And you a damn Mexican. And I looked on the data. That's what I put on my Twitter. The damn Hispanics wasn't even documented until 1850. That's why I put on my Twitter, I did my research, 1840, it was nothing but the black and the Negro and the damn white. And white is Europeans. Europeans are the people who colonized us. It is three major groups: England, Spain, France, and Portugal. That's it. So it's a mix of those. Those are Europeans. That ain't your damn South American ass. I don't know who the hell you think you is. But those was the only. Exactly. So stop playing with me and stop playing with our community. Stop playing. MSNBC needs to stop playing. Do not do this. Especially this dude. He's not even accepted by the Spaniards. That's what he's trying to do. Because Spain was one of our colonizers. But nigga, you wasn't from Spain. You down there in South America somewhere. They reject you. They don't even accept you. So you're not going to say, this man sat up there and said he's the oldest ethnic group in America. Is somebody going to stop playing with me? These people need to be fact checked.
All right.
And
okay, Sean, I'm sorry. I thought you was done. I'm going to go ahead and let you wrap it up.
Because you know I can keep going. All right. Love y'all. Bye-bye.
All right. I'm going to go ahead because we're going to get towards our last speakers of the night because we've been going for almost about 3 hours. So we're going to go ahead and I see Trans. I see you came back up here. So I'm going to give you a chance. I'm going to start dropping speakers down as you speak as well, too, guys. Nothing personal, but we're going to go ahead and close this out. So let me go ahead and read the order of the speakers. We're going to go, I'm going to go to Trans.
Hey, real quick, Straight No Chase was trying to keep coming up, but I guess they keep getting.
I was just going to go after Trans. I was going to go ahead and let them go next, but if they come back, I'll let them get in there. But you got Trans, then you got and it was going to be Straight, but I guess they not here. Then we're going to go. We'll go. Mr. Engaging, Black Pressure, and No Taxation. So those will be our last speakers for the night, y'all. Like I say, as we speak, we're going to go ahead and start dropping people down as well, too, because we're going to be closing this space out in a second as well. So,
hey, no.
Yeah.
Real quick, I have a feeling. It's just a feeling. This whole room is about to go left in a few seconds, but I'll mute up.
All right. Trans is beautiful. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hi guys. Hi. Hello. I'm sorry. I'm just a bit sick, and thank you for letting me talk in your space. And but I was actually just listening, and not necessarily you, but I just heard some people just how do I say it, talking in such with so much transphobia and just ignorance, and I'm just
Hold on, Professor. Go ahead and let Trans speak. And nobody come off the mic. Let's go ahead because we're not gonna keep the space open long. So don't nobody come off your mic. Let them speak because we got other speakers that want to get it in, and we ain't gonna be here too much longer. So go ahead, Trans. Say what you got to say.
Okay, but I feel in all fairness, I think people need to just actually talk to people who are actually part of specific communities instead of making assumptions, saying different things, spreading misinformation, propaganda, which may become harmful towards several marginalized groups, like minority groups, and yes, and it's I just heard some people just thinking without actually talking to somebody who's actually part of the community, and what is your experience? What do you think about this? And I find it very unfair, and how people do stuff like that, and I've seen it in several spaces, and and I feel people just need to just open up their hearts and their minds and their spirits, and just let people be themselves, whether they are gay, transgender, bisexual, whether they are mixed, whether they interracially date. I don't care. Just let people be themselves, and stop being so hateful. And I just want to say thank you to you, Miss Disruptor, for being there for me Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and drop you down. I'm dropping people that already spoke, y'all. So I know, like I said, because we got to get up out the space because I got some stuff to do. So we will go ahead. We're trying to close this space out. Mr. Engage, and go ahead and unmute your mic.
All right. First
Hey,
thing,
dude, you can drop me too.
Oh, you want me to drop you?
Yeah, go ahead.
peace,
Okay.
man. All right. First things first. I'm gonna address the whatever the thing transform. First things first. I see this individual coming to our space, and I see that they're expressing cultural indifference and intolerance. The thing is, we're not in a gay space talking about our issues and concerns, but this individual feel like they can come into our space and to dictate how we should move, what their opinion is, and what is injustice and stuff of that nature. I find that is cultural indifference and also cultural intolerance, and very disrespectful and disingenuous. So that's what I'm going to say straight up out the gate. Then now I'm going to address the other thing, and I'm going to get right back to discussing about these sports, especially on a collegiate level. The big three, basketball, football, and baseball, generate multi-millions of dollars in these college institutions. They don't give these guys that they make their money off of all the scholarships, but they normally give it to the non-physical sports like fencing, sailing, tennis. They give those guys the full rides. Just on a collegiate level, who's really being represented? And they're taking our children's talent, and they're taking their talent, making the money off of it, and giving that scholarship to little Johnny who sucks, who can't really do a real sport. So that's what I see on a collegiate level, what they do to the American Negro. But if you guys want to keep playing with the footballs and stuff, go ahead. I more want to pick up a gun and more or less practice my martial arts and self-defense. That's what the type of time I want, because that's what the type of time the world is on. So that being said, I'm going to say salute, peace, and blessing.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Engage. And let me go ahead and get to no taxation. No taxation. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Well, we come to the end of the road again. I want to read two things in this real quick. One of them has to do with the Negro Leagues. My father actually played for the Kansas City Monarchs, and he was very involved with the Negro Leagues Museum in Kansas City, Missouri, where he's from. And of course, we all supported that. We all gave to that. We did the best we could. Here's what I want to read to you. On December the 16th, 2020, Major League Baseball announced that the Negro Leagues Baseball from 1920 to 1948 would henceforth be considered a major league. So we lost a major portion of the Negro Leagues. And it was the downfall. Now, this is 2020, and I was screaming about it. I don't think y'all was here, because otherwise I know y'all would have picked it up. But we did the best we could, and we still lost. But that's the way the game goes, not sports. I mean, that's the way the game goes. You have to do your best and forget the rest. The other thing that I wanted to read to you was something that I tweeted today, and I don't know if anybody picked up on it. The NAACP said crazily, they said, here it is. And I talked about Bob Woodson too. He's crazy. Y'all don't pay no attention to Bob Woodson. He's looking for some light. The NAACP came out and said it is dangerous to be black in America. And I told the NAACP it's not dangerous to be black in America. America is a danger to black Americans. We have got to call, just like Sister Sean said, all of it out. Every single time, because each one teach one. If we just reach one, that one can talk to 10, and maybe they can pick up 2 or 3. That's the way we have to do things now. And I always say this in every spaces, and I've said it again. Y'all are doing a wonderful job. Your generation is doing a wonderful job, and me and Original is sitting back happy because, see, he's a revolutionary and so am I. But we can't get out there and do what it is you all have the youth to do. And we want you all to win, because if you win, we win, and the generations behind you, they win. And so it's an everyday fight. And when you say keep your head on the swivel, and I say watch your front, back, and sides, it includes everything that Sister Sean said. You have to do the politics. You have to talk about the sports. You have to do it and do it and do it and do it again every day when you get up. And it's a fight. And it is a war. It's an all-out war. But I want to end it on a high note, because he said I was the last one. And y'all know that I like to end it on a high note. We're majestic. And that is something that people can visually see when they go to Washington, D.C. Now, whether you come to the rally or not, go to Washington, D.C. and see what the ancestors built. It's majestic. And it is for that reason those buildings are called Capitol and not Capital of the United States of America. Okay? And those grounds used to be lynching grounds, slave trading grounds, all of that, while the other ancestors who were not being lynched and traded as slaves were building, like Benjamin Banneker. And so do not forget that we are a majestic people. And it's going to be very hard for them to wipe us out, because we're going to keep our heads on the swivel. We're going to watch our front, back, and sides, and we're going to call them out on every occasion. And News, you know, I love y'all. DJ, Professor, y'all do such a wonderful job every day, and I appreciate y'all and everybody in the room. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. DJ, you doing a space tonight, or you what's up? I meant to ask you earlier.
Oh, do the people want me to? Let me get some hands. Y'all love me enough? Let me see. Oh, they love me. Okay, got one. Kim. Hey, Kim, how you doing? No, I guess so. That's one. That's all I need. The rest of y'all can't come in space.
All right. So DJ's going to do a space, y'all. He's going to continue this up. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to try to get up in that space in a second. I got something to take care of. So once again, thank you everybody for coming out tonight. We will be back tomorrow night. DJ finna have a part 2 to this right here going on too. So everybody go ahead and catch him up in the space. He's finna get ready to start up in a second. I'll catch y'all over there. Come up in there for a minute. Won't be able to stay too long, but I'll pop my head up in there for a little short second, y'all. So shout out to everybody who came out. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Okay. So give him 10 minutes. Okay. Give him 10 minutes and he's going to start that space up, y'all. So we'll see y'all over there. Good night to everybody. Thank you once again for coming out and supporting the space as always.
Good night, everybody. Come on over to DJ space in 10 minutes.
All night long. All night.